You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Well, there's a look at our Monday lineup. It started with Miller and Moulton, and here we go with the Brent Austen Show. NFL Draft Week 2025. We'll have no gate fees from last week. Replay at 1 and 6 today, so check out baseball and softball as we get baseball high school playoffs, regional action, best of three start tonight for the first time. We get that new system in play. We'll see how it goes. And Young and Norvell at 4 o'clock today. They'll be talking some draft as well. Just about a little of everything on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, actionsportsjax.com, Action News Jax app, Action News Jax Now app, wherever you stream your television from your couch. And we have a lot for you coming up this week, and it starts right now. NFL Draft Week is here. NFL Draft Day is on Thursday. Earth Day is tomorrow. So, hey, look behind me. Plastic metals recycle. We're at Republic Services Recycling Center, and we'll talk a bit about that and what it means, especially on the horizon with Earth Day tomorrow. It's a big time for the folks up here, and we'll visit with them here on the show today. Of course, we recycle some of our old stories, our fun stories, each Tuesday and Thursday on Into the Archives. We'll do that tomorrow. Probably have a little something to do with the draft, but no recycling here on the show today. Just fresh stuff when it comes to the NFL draft. Oh, and Wrestlemania as well. How did my picks do? You were busy this weekend, Austin Lane. A little extra, little OT on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network, talking some wrestling.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I'll wait till Casey gets in, because Casey will begin here in an hour or so. My wrestling constituent, if you will, and then we'll kind of break it all down and everything. But definitely some mixed reactions, especially the main event, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. A lot of people feel a certain type of way about it, and I'm in that category as well. Didn't think it was the finish that people were expecting, but once again, in case he gets in here, we'll dive deep into that.
All right. I can't wait to see how I did on my predictions. I felt like some of the people I knew that were winning were people I picked, so we'll see if that happened more than I thought, or maybe I was just reading what I wanted to read, and hearing what I wanted to hear, and seeing what I wanted to see after a couple of days of WrestleMania. Well, what do you want to see on Thursday when the Jags pick 5th overall? That will be interesting for everybody. I find this part kind of fun right now, Austin. I've seen like a few of the national guys say, hey, I made a lot of phone calls this weekend, and here's what I'm hearing, right? One of those things. And then I also think the national guys, I saw Jonathan Jones today say this is one of the most unpredictable drafts that he's been a part of. It kind of reminds him a bit of 2020. Now, that was unpredictable for various reasons. They didn't do a lot of the things that they normally do because of the pandemic. But when I hear the national guys say this is unpredictable, I think of two things. Okay, maybe that's correct, but also maybe teams are really smartening up here and not giving out a lot of information. The Jags have always been one that haven't given out much information, especially under Shad Khan's ownership. He does a really good job of keeping things pretty tight. But maybe the rest of the league is starting to do this too. And it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of information out there, which then causes unpredictability, I guess, in this draft. And also, I think you have what could be labeled as a pretty average draft, one from a quarterback standpoint, but also maybe just from the first round standpoint, where I read somewhere today, some people think the 10th overall pick is as good as the 32nd overall pick. So a lot going on here as we enter the Thursday and the NFL draft here in 2025.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and obviously Jacksonville is doing their part in keeping everything very close to the vest. Like, we don't know what they're going to do. We can go by what Vegas thinks they're going to do, but nobody really has a great idea. And I think if I'm James Gladstone, if I'm Liam Cohen, if I'm Shad Khan, that's the exact spot that I want to be in, because right now you have no tell. So if you have no tell and no one understands what you're trying to do, that leaves you open for trades. That leaves you open for moving back if you truly want to, or you know, if you want to shock the world and move up, you can do that as well. So I think it's the ultimate advantage when, you know, we have theories of what's going to happen, and experts do as well. But I think it's a good thing when no one really knows exactly who the pick is going to be. You know, I mean, we always see, especially in draft week, People want to say, I'm seeing, expect this guy to go here, expect that guy to go here. And especially in the top 5 where you can have a pretty good idea of where it's going to shake out. We have no idea. Could be Ashton Jeanty, could be Mason Graham, could be somebody else. That's a great spot to be in right now, I think, if you're the Jaguars.
Well, yeah, and I think this morning there was a lot of McMillan conversation coming from some of the national guys. I'll get into that in just a bit, like what the Schefters and other people are actually saying or what they think they're hearing, because I just find it fascinating. Coming up a little bit later on in the week, I think I'm going to do what I think I know about this whole Jacksonville Jaguars draft. Not what I think I'm hearing, but what I think I know, because I think that part is more important. Because of all that, Austin, what you just said, what I just said, do you think there's a real chance that the Jags get somebody that that would surprise folks? Maybe it is a McMillan, like he's viewed way higher than what the group think has him now in these mock drafts, or you name it. Maybe it's a Ty Warren. Maybe you go all the way back to some of the other tight ends, or some of the other edge rushers. We could talk offensive linemen here, but do you think it's in play that it's not Mason Graham or Ashton Jeanty, or even Jalen Walker? I think those are the 3 names that have been kind of talked about probably the most, because of everything that we just said, the unpredictability of it.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think the biggest shock to me, even more than offensive lineman, would be Jalen Walker.
Is that just the way you view him, though, or so you personally, or do you think just based on the tea leaves of what the organization needs, wants? What do you think?
I just think in terms of what this team's going to be all about, what James Gladstone's all about, and judging by his history, his draft history, judging by the teams that Liam Cohen has surrounded himself with, and obviously I echo back more to Tampa Bay and how they kind of approach the draft and everything, I just don't think Jalen Walker would fit the mold of what they've drafted, what they've attacked, especially in the first round in the past. Now, they could change up the game and go after him, but once again, if the whole goal of the first round pick is to insert him right away, get playing time, and be that difference maker, well, where's the difference going to come? You're going to have him on the pass rush packages and move, I guess, you would move Trayvon Walker down, which, okay, if that's the case. I mean, you're talking about moving a guy who's had back-to-back 10-sack seasons and now saying, okay, you're playing the 3 technique. Okay, I guess you can do that. Then you're talking about what? You're going to put him at linebacker over Devin Lloyd, so then Devin Lloyd's going to be sitting, because keep in mind, Liam Cohen has said they are a big fan of what Devin Lloyd can do. So now Devin Lloyd will probably be on the bench, I assume, in base packages. And then when it comes time to pay Trayvon Walker, are you actually going to pay him that much money if you have another edge guy that you just drafted in the first round? I think it's hard to justify it. So then what are you going to do? Are you going to say, all right, Trayvon, I mean, we got another edge here, so we'll let you do your thing this year, and then we'll see how it goes? What happens if Trayvon Walker gets 12, 13 sacks? Then you got to pay him Josh Hines-Allen money. So then you're going to pay 2 of your edge rushers top 5 money and then sacrifice another first-round pick this season for it? I have a hard time believing that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. There's another big thing I thought of coming out of the weekend. I don't know if you did. Well, it's not like we just thought about it. We asked it last week. But we got in the title today, like Genty smokescreen. And the more and more I thought about this over the last 48, 72 hours, Austin, I'm just like, this really feels like a smokescreen to me. Like, it's the one, one of the things that everybody's saying is they're like, a lot of teams want to trade back. Well, the Jags, I think my logic would say the Jags would love to be one of those teams that would want to trade back. And I think the only piece that you can play at number 5 to get people to maybe come up and get excitement building is Genty. And if they're the ones that help build some of that excitement because of the Raiders who have been penciled in, or like the Denver Broncos have been rumored to have some interest, of course, and they might be a team that's actually calling to move up a little bit, and they don't need quarterback. like Genty becomes maybe the only piece that someone would move for. So do you think this is a little bit of a Hail Mary on the part of the Jags to really put a smokescreen out there, show that they're really, really interested to try to drum up more interest around the National Football League and potentially give themselves a chance to move back? He's like the only piece, I think, that could help them move back. I just don't think Shedeur Sanders, somebody's jumping up to number 5 to get him.
No one's probably. I mean, Mason Graham, I don't know how all the teams behind the Jaguars feel about him either. I mean, is it all a smokescreen? Is there no chance that the Jacksonville Jaguars will take Ashton Jeanty? I don't buy into it. I think where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think this team is interested in possibly taking Ashton Jeanty. Like, I still think Mason Graham's the overall favorite, and I think he's been the favorite for a long time. But I do think Genty is interesting because we can sit here and say, okay, you have Travis Etienne, you have Tank Bigsby this year, but then let me ask you this: what does it look like next year?
Yeah, you're going to have Bigsby in a contract year. You're going to have no Etienne. And my guess is you would have already picked up like a running back this year in the 3rd round or 4th round where you have a couple of picks. So you start planning for that in the 3rd and 4th round instead of next year. But no, I think your point's a good one. That's why I think it's fascinating, Genty. You can make the case from intangibly rich in production, to your point, to one of the best players in the draft, to, okay, this is a smokescreen to get out. To going all the way back to what Cohen said, he likes these backs. You can fix the running back position really pretty quickly in the NFL, so you don't need to do it this year, even if you do run into what you're talking about next year.
Exactly. And listen, Liam Cohen, we've talked about this many times. He said that he likes, obviously, the running back room. He likes Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne. He mentioned that on the very first press conference. If you like Travis Etienne that much, then why hasn't he been signed to like a 2-3 year deal? Because if you were going to sign him, you would sign him now because he's coming off of a pretty rough year where he'd probably be at the cheapest. If Travis Etienne goes for, let's just assume, let's play in a world where you don't get Ashton Jeanty, maybe you get Mason Graham, whatever the case may be, but you don't get a running back in the 1st round. Travis Etienne, new offensive line, blocking scheme, new offensive play calling, goes out there and balls out. Now the asking price of Travis Etienne drastically went up. I don't buy into that narrative. I think like this is probably going to be Travis Etienne Jr.'s last, his last run here in Jacksonville. So if that's the case, like, and I understand you're in it to win it right now, and then you have to plan for the present, but it doesn't hurt to be prepared for the future as well. And if you're going to lose Travis Etienne next year and you're going to have Tank Bigsby where you're not really sure about him yet on his last year of his contract, I think it makes a lot of sense actually to address the running back spot and have that, obviously shored up for the next 4 or 5+ years.
Yeah, I listen, the logic is there as well, right? I mean, it certainly is. I saw somebody say this, and I'm going to give credit. I think it was Whirlybird on Twitter, and I didn't think of it this way, and I don't know if you think of it this way, but I thought it was an interesting point. If you pick Genty with the slotted dollars at number 5, he instantly becomes like this high-paid guy for the running back room. So I think he said something like Saquon Barkley-esque. I don't believe that because Barkley's now making like $20 million a year. But he certainly makes a lot of money in the 5 spot because he's a first-round pick and the number 5 overall pick. If you pick like a Mason Graham, the amount of money you have tied into that, like a piece of the pie, percentage-wise, is a lot lower. Because obviously there are a bunch of defensive tackles making big dollars, so they're making even more than like Mason Graham as a rookie would be. I thought that was an interesting point, like just from a dollar perspective of how much you want to allot to your running back versus maybe a defensive tackle. I'm not saying that changes whether you pick them or not. I just thought that was a pretty interesting way to look at it, and I wonder if the Jags somehow look at it that way too from an investment standpoint, or anybody in the league looks at it that way.
I'm trying to comprehend what you said. So what you're saying is because he's making obviously a first round salary, so the salary that Genty would be making would be higher comparable to what a defensive tackle would be making because obviously the market for a running back is probably a lot lower than like a defensive tackle. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a first-round pick, you know?
I'm trying to see I'm trying to see the rookie scales. Let's just go with this. And again, I just saw it in passing. I was like, okay, well, that's an interesting. I mean, if we're going to really dance all around this topic, the 5th overall pick is going to make $36 million per year. So, like, what's that on average over 4? You're talking about $9 million per year for a running back, right? So he's got to obviously produce $9 million for a defensive tackle. Wouldn't make him in the top 5% of the league or top 10% in the league or whatever you want to do. It slides down. There's a sliding scale there. So you're getting more value from a dollar perspective if the two players are equal in terms of how good they are. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was kind of an interesting way to look.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if he's making $9 million a year, like, I don't think that's that bad. Ramondre Stevens is making $9 million a year. David Montgomery's making $9 million a year. James Conner's making $9.5 million. Like, Josh Jacobs making 10. Aaron Jones making 9.8. Like, I don't necessarily think it's that drastic. I mean, if you can tell me that, and once again, if you draft Ashton Jeanty, where you're going to draft him at number 5, well, then you need to draft him with the intention of making him a top 5 running back. So if we're talking about him being a top 5 running back in terms of production, in terms of, if you want to be the fantasy football fan, and fantasy value, then you're going to slate him, right up there with Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor's making $14 million a year, and Alvin Kamara's making $12.5 million. So it's still some value. I mean, it's not the value, obviously, of a defensive tackle, but it's still value nonetheless. And keep in mind, if you get a great defensive tackle, who you hope, once again, if you get Mason Graham, can be a top 5 player one day, well, that second contract is going to look a lot more juicy for him than probably the second contract of a back.
Yeah, well, that's a good point too. Yeah, and you do even wonder about the second contract for a running back. Look what we're talking about with Travis Etienne. I'm not. This isn't like a deal breaker or anything. I just thought it was kind of an interesting point where, like, right now, you said it. Aaron Jones is making $10 million. Joe Mixon $9.9 million. So right in that's like the 6th or 7th highest running back. At $9 or $10 million for a defensive tackle, that's a little lower than Devon Hamilton. It would set you at like number 33 in the NFL or something like that. What I just looked at quickly. But again, listen, not a deal breaker. I just thought it was an interesting thought, and I do think people kind of piece together how much they want to allocate. If you're going to look at everything, which I'm sure they are. Is that part of the equation? The other thing on the Genty stuff for me, Austin, I've seen a lot. Now I see Daniel Jeremiah's, and I saw some other ones today, like the top 100 guys or top 50 guys in the draft. And obviously Genty is right up there with Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter as best players, which I like that. Like, I'm like, okay, go get one of the best players in the draft. Like, if you can get the best player in the draft, say on your board, you just rank your best players. Doesn't matter position, even if you had a quarterback up there. And you can get the 3rd best player in the draft at pick number 5. To me, that says, oh, that's pretty good value for a team. Like, go get him. 3rd best player on your board, you get him at number 5. That's pretty good. Well, in that mix at like 5, 6, 7, depending on whoever was ranking these, I saw Ty Warren as well, the tight end. And if we're going to have questions like, okay, well, Genty might be awesome, great production, great player, one of the best players on the board, but wait, do you take the running back in that spot? If you're willing to do it at running back, why aren't we hearing maybe a little bit more steam or smoke to be willing to do it at the tight end spot and say, okay, this guy's one of the best players in the draft as well, but yeah, it comes at the tight end spot, so what? He's 5th overall. We think he's one of the best players. He's a blue chip guy. Let's take him.
See, but this is my issue with this whole philosophy of like ranking exactly like he's the 3rd best player, he's the 4th best player. Because Philly bucked that trend last year when they said, we don't care what Cooper DeJean is ranked. We don't care what Quinion Mitchell is ranked in terms of value. We need cornerbacks. So we're going to we're going to take the best 2 corners in the draft, regardless of what the experts say of where their positional value is or where their value overall is. We're taking the best 2 players in the draft, we think, at corner. And look how it worked out. They won a Super Bowl because of that philosophy. Now, when we talk about Tyler Warren, Yeah, maybe he is a top 5 guy. Maybe he is a top 3 guy. My argument with taking him, though, is, well, you just elevated Brenton Strange. Like, you just made Brenton Strange the guy because you let Evan Ingram go because you think Brenton Strange is the guy. So if you bring in a guy like Tyler Warren, yeah, maybe he could be an upgrade at the tight end position. You're always looking for upgrades. But theoretically, how much would he play then? Because I still think they like Brenton Strange a lot, and he can do a lot of things in terms of the run game and in the pass game. So if you want to talk about value, where's the value if you take Tyler Warren with the 5th pick of exactly how much he's going to be playing, because he's going to be sharing reps with Brenton Strange?
Yeah, that's fair. Just curious. Like, again, I'm seeing one guy on ESPN say top 4 players: Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Ashton Jeanty, Tyler Warren, and then so I just, if position be damned, I guess, because again, not many people want to take running backs in the top 10. Do you say that if they really fell in love or loved a guy like Warren, you're just getting good players? Does that come into fold? One other quick note: when I looked at some of these rankings, Walter Nolan, at least for the ESPN guy, he was at 5th on his overall, the defensive tackle at Ole Miss, 5th best player available in this draft. And I thought it was interesting, Austin, because it shows the discrepancy between various opinions. Dano Jeremiah, who I think a lot of people respect in the business and looking at how he ranks guys, I want to say he had Walter Nolan like 32nd or something like that. So one guy had him 5 and another one had him 32. Maybe that says more than anything about how ambiguous some of the opinions are in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, see, I think when we talk about every player is different. If you talk about Walter Nolan, like if you watch film on him, yeah, the guy could be an all-pro one day. But the question is will he give maximum effort? Does he love the game of football? So now we're starting to ask like theoreticals of, okay, well, if you drafted him, could you get the best out of him, or would he fizzle out in a couple years? So I think when we talk about these draft experts, one is based off of what they see on film and what the ceiling can be, and another expert's going to go, I've seen what the ceiling can be, but like, what does the personality bring to the table? Like, does he love the game of football? That's where a discrepancy is. A discrepancy, like, listen, if you watch somebody on film, like, you have a pretty good idea. Like, if you're an expert and this is your job, you should probably know exactly, okay, I watch this guy on film, he's going to be a top 10 player. He's going to be a top 20 player. That's not the hard part. The hard part is trying to diagnose and trying to figure out, will they adapt to the NFL level? Because I'm watching his college film and, well, maybe he's taking plays off sometimes. Well, maybe there's some interworkings of being disgruntled with the coach or something like that. And that's hard to really predict of how he's going to go in the NFL.
Yeah, I get it. And that's where those discrepancies come in. And by the way, these are two guys' opinions. I'm not trying to lean in on it too much. I just think it's, with everything else you're seeing, and there's so much, it's not like everybody's board's going to be the same, or at least the national group think they're not getting enough information to figure that out. That's what I always come back to, too. Like, I just don't know if these guys are getting enough information to be able to piece the puzzle together like they've been able to do in years past. And that, to me, says, oh, the lips are sealed a little bit more around the National Football League for whatever reason. Is that because of the draft? Is that because of new regimes? Is that just because they said, hey, we're going to all be quiet, we're not talking to anybody? Who knows? But I think you got to look at all of it now. And I think in part when we on the outside can't figure things out, or when groupthink really becomes paramount, to me that tells me that there's not a lot of information out there that people can really lean into and grasp onto and start leaking stuff. We'll see if that changes over the next couple of days. There are some now words being said, and or at least people are guessing. And I want to read you what Adam Schefter said today about the Jags. He said, will the Jags go conventional wisdom? Many mock drafts have pegged the Jags to select Mason Graham at 5 overall. The venerable Lee Corso says, however, not so fast, my friends. New GM James Gladstone, who has 10 picks to work with, including 4 in the top 90, might not be that predictable. As one league executive said recently, Jacksonville is a wild card. Watch. Jags coach Liam Cohen has long had a soft spot for wide receivers in the draft, and the top-rated wideout in this class, Arizona's Ted McMillan, has drawn comparisons to the Bucs' Mike Evans. Cohen, who coached Evans last year, knows how valuable a player like he can be. Some have questioned McMillan's passion for football, but others suggest he's misunderstood, and that when he's on the football field, he's an absolute baller. This is a guy that's gone over 1,300 yards, by the way, in 2 years. He's been very consistent, I think, with 80-plus catches each year for Arizona. Austin, the point in that is you're getting a little bit more Ted McMillan this morning from some of the national guys. I think McShay had it. You got this nugget from Schefter as well, depending on how people view Travis Hunter. Now that they know Travis Hunter is no longer going to be on the board, Ted McMillan, could he kind of jump back into people's psyche? Because he certainly has left the psyche over the last month or so, I would think, in this draft process, at least being available or being a guy to target at number 5.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's more smoke than what the Ashton Jeanty stuff is, honestly. But once again, if that's your guy, that's your guy. If you want to talk about production, well, production score, he's second, right? It goes Travis Hunter, it goes Ted McMillan, then it goes
rich.
Luther Burden. I'm sorry?
Intangibly rich.
Intangibly rich, yeah, exactly. So, you know, and then you got Luther Burden third. So, if you think Ted McMillan's really your guy, then so be it. But once again, I see a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm like, couldn't that be your Mike Evans, except on steroids? Because, and when I say steroids, he's not taking steroids, but I'm saying, like, it's like Mike Evans, but then he's almost like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin combined. So, like, are you trying to find a Mike Evans clone? I'm not sure if you're Liam Cohen right there. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the goal or not. And once again, with Ted McMillan, is there a pretty high ceiling? Absolutely. Like, you can't teach the size, you can't teach the speed. But once again, and this, as that article is referring to, like, does he love the game? You know, will he be cerebral in how he goes about his business? That's hard to tell. So if there's even a question of that, 5 might be a little risky, but then is the whole the Ashton Jeanty rumors simply because you want to take Tet, maybe trade down a little bit and get him? That's a possibility as well. But I'm going to say this much. I think that you can get a quality wide receiver in the second round. Yeah, if Travis Hunter's there, then by all means take him. Probably not going to be there though. But like, if I'm Liam Cohen, if I'm James Gladstone, and it's not even about value, I think it's just about talent. Like, I look at the second round of who could be available there, and I go, they could be better than Ted McMillan. So we'll wait till the second round.
Buka, you're talking about Burden. You're potentially talking about if those guys can get there. You know, the one thing you do say about Burden is a guy that, much like I actually think, and don't get me too wrong here, but the way Travis Hunter, I envision him being used in like a Liam Cohen offense, that bubble screen, get the ball in his hands, like run after the catch kind of stuff. I think you could make the case Burden is very good in that spot as well, right? I mean, he was used that way in college, and I think he could potentially fill that and certainly catch the attention for Liam Cohen. So that part's pretty interesting. All right, Dave, we are going to talk a little bit more about the running back. Daniel Griffiths writes about that, has some interesting notes. So maybe Ashton Jeanty as he becomes continued conversation here in Jacksonville. Couple of things. Today we're going to have a fun little game in the noon hour. And Austin, we might either just go toe-to-toe in this game when Casey gets in, or we could grab a fan, a listener, a viewer, you and I, each on our team, and do this live action. But we'll see how that works out. But if somebody wants to get in on that, let us know. They'd have to be listening, though, in the 12 to 1 hour today here on the show, and we can each pick somebody on our own team and play a little game about Jags draft classes is what it's going to do. That's the topic, Jags draft classes, coming up a little bit later on the show. Plus, want to push out there that we got the envelope game going again. And so send us sports at actionnewsjacks.com or find a way to get it to us. Who do you think the Jags are going to pick at number 5? There's one caveat here, too, because we have so many winners potentially for that. I want the second round draft position that they take. You don't have to nail the guy, but that's going to be the tiebreaker, is what's the draft position they take in the second round to go along with your first round answer that's correct. So the number 5 overall pick, what are they doing with it? give us a name, who they're drafted. And as a secondary part of this, you've got to give us the second-round pick position. Not name, but position. That will be kind of the tie-break help so we don't have like 60 winners and I go bankrupt here on the envelope game in the 2025 NFL Draft. Let's take a time out. Brent Morton, Austin Lane, Kim's Corner in today as well. And we are hanging out at Republic Services Recycling Center. Don't forget, recyclingsimplified.com. Earth Day is tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit more about what you can do at home in your workplace when it comes to recycling to make it more efficient process and better for everyone. So Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. And Mason Graham. Is he going to be the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars? Is he undersized? Did he not have enough production? Is he intangibly rich enough? He can throw people out of the way. As one scout said, if there was a stat for throwing people out of the way, he would lead the country in it. Do you want this guy in the defensive interior for the Jacksonville Jaguars? When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the note for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter first coast on your team.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Oh, well, there he is, Ashton Jeanty. I love the question we got last week, by the way, when we just showed Mason Graham going to break, and now we show Ashton Jeanty coming out of break here on the Brent and Austin Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. And we say, well, who gives you the better chance to get 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 or stop 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1? I love the question. And I kind of wonder how the Jags would answer that question. They'd love to do both, right? And I think we both settled on, well, Genty probably gives you the better chance. He can control that a little bit more. Austin, we were discussing this last night on Action Sports Jax Primetime. Really, it was in a commercial break, too, about Genty's, like, because Corey Sim actually asked this question to us. He said, hey, can he make up for the offensive line? And I don't know how you feel about the offensive line. I know how people usually feel about the offensive line, and I don't necessarily think running backs can make up for the offensive line alone. I mean, they need the offensive line. But I think it also lends to a conversation like, hey, how good are the Jags backs at seeing holes, at hitting holes, at making decisions? And how much of this has been the offensive line's fault of the Jacksonville Jaguars at times, the inability to push in the run game, to be able to move people in the run game. And so I think that's it's got multiple levels when you ask the question. How do you feel about it? Can a running back make up or make your offensive line a lot better?
I mean, absolutely. I guess the question's going to be how many first round, second round, third round draft picks does Boise State have on their offensive line? And I don't have the answer to that question, but I don't think it's a lot.
Not many, but they also aren't playing like Oklahoma, Texas A&M every week.
They played Oregon. And despite what you think about Oregon and their defense, Oregon's got some defensive linemen that are probably going to go pretty high in the draft. Look at Ashton Jeanty's stats against Oregon. They almost beat Oregon.
Yeah, I think he did pretty.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they did early. Yeah, early in the season, you're right.
Yeah, so like I don't, and I get then we go back to what was the Penn State game, right? And I remember what the numbers were, but Penn State was kind of getting after him a little bit. I don't know. I just think if you're a good running back, you're a good running back, man. If you're a great running back, you're a great running back. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how great that offensive line for Boise State was, but I remember watching a bunch of games and watching Genty get hit behind the line of scrimmage, not going down and turning a -2 yard run into a 20, 30 yard run because he broke so many tackles. So I think the dude's super talented, man.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not. That's a great example of it. At 25 carries, 192 yards, by the way, for Genty against Oregon. 30 carries, 104 against Penn State. And by the way, I think the Penn State one's pretty interesting because didn't he? He got banged up a little bit in that game, I thought, as well. Maybe I'm not right there. But the Penn State one, you have a lot of time to focus in, right? It's almost like you game plan for like weeks and weeks against that guy. And really, that's the only guy you've got to stop. And so I think that becomes an easier game plan. And you know you can out-athlete Boise State, just like Oregon could. But Oregon didn't have like a month to get ready, So I think it's a little bit of a different animal in the game that he played against Penn State versus Oregon to that degree. The one thing like that comes to mind actually in the Penn State game, really the fumbles. Remember, he had the huge fumble, and then he lost another one and almost lost another fumble, like it was like back-to-back. And there is some concern about Genty, Austin, when it comes to the fumbles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned. I'm just going by the games that I've watched. And yeah, obviously that Penn State game, he didn't play his best. And spoiler alert, he didn't play his best, and they lost because of it. I'm not sure like what the total fumbles are. I'm not sure like, every so many carries, how many times does he fumble, anything like that. Just going off of what I've seen, it doesn't scare me.
Yeah, I'm not telling you it should scare you, but I just think it's somewhat interesting. All right. Well, what the heck? Let's keep talking about Ashton Jeanty a little bit. Brent Martineau back here at Republic Services Recycling Center. Earth Day coming up tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more recycling during the show today. And let's talk a little bit more on the running back today because Daniel Griffiths, so we're going to get to that a little early. Hopefully you have the image, Kim, from your email. Good to have Kim's Corner here on a Monday. Appreciate her. Jason Hamby will join us the rest of the week, of course, as we have a lot of NFL draft coverage, too. And the point today for Daniel Griffiths, as he writes on ActionSportsJacks.com, is really just taking a deeper dive into the running backs. And, he's given us a bunch of different running back statistics over the last however long now, a couple of weeks. And this one says most rushing yards since 2015. Derrick Henry leads the way, Ezekiel Elliott, Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley right there, believe it or not, obviously buoyed by last year. In that big season, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs. I'm going to stop right there. And some of this has to do with where they were drafted. Derrick Henry round 2, Ezekiel Elliott round 1, Joe Mixon round 2, Saquon Barkley round 1, Aaron Jones, the outlier here, round number 5, and Josh Jacobs round number 1. And I think what Daniel's getting at here, Austin, is, hey, that round 1 running back seemingly has been a pretty good investment in the NFL over the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely obviously a pro Ashton Jeanty analytics graph here and everything. I think my only argument would be is where were these guys in terms of total team rushing, right? Because there's two schools of thought in terms of the NFL. There's the bell cow, and then there's the running back by committee. Like if you go back, it would have been, I guess, 2 seasons now, 3 seasons. Like Chicago, I think, was like top 2 or top 3 in rushing. They didn't really have like a go-to guy, but they're running backs by committee. So to me, this just shows, hey, if you draft a running back in the first 2 rounds, he better be your bell cow and he better deliver. And if you don't, and maybe you go more of a 4th or 5th round, okay as well, because then you can go running back by committee.
Yeah, this is Paint the Player, by the way, brought to you by That One Painter First Coast, thatonepainter.com/first-coast. So I'm going to dig a little deeper into the numbers here with what Griffith says, because it's not just an individual stat that you can see on where these guys have done in the last decade. But he says this, rushing posted the second highest yards per game since 1988 last year, just behind 2022. 121.6 yards per game. Last year was 119.8, so less than 2 yards below 2022's high. Austin, think about that. Running game posted 119.8, second most since 1988. I mean, that's pretty incredible, man. Almost 40 years.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a throwback, bringing back the running game, which, I love to see.
Yeah, and on top of that, Daniel sends me a couple other notes, by the way. The top 6 rushing offenses, which I think we've talked about this in the past, but just good reminder as we get some more Genty steam here. Top 6 rushing offenses all made the playoffs last year, Austin. 2024, I already mentioned that, saw the second highest rush yards per game. But top 6 rushing offenses all made the playoffs last year. If you want to go to the playoffs, run the ball. I think that is something Liam Cohen believes in.
Oh, without a doubt, man. I mean, How many times have I said this on the show? You got to be able to run the football, right? Especially when you talk about the playoffs, you talk about colder weather, you control the clock, you can set up play action. I understand. It's funny how running back sometimes I feel like are underappreciated, and now with the emergence of Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy, they're kind of bucking the trend again and saying, hey, we're important too as well. But for as undervalued as they are, they're essential to make a run. In the playoffs, I mean, pun intended.
Literal run. That's right. And by the way, some of this is lighter boxes now. The passing game has been so sought after. People are trying to figure out ways to defend the passing game as well. So, will this continue to be a trend? It was 22 and now 24, so that's 2 out of the last 3 years. Will it continue to be a trend? And teams are running the ball. And we got some spectacular running backs, by the way. Derrick Henry still getting it done. Rushing offense of Baltimore. Don't forget all our conversation over the last couple of months of the Buffalo Bills, maybe who the Jags want to be the most alike, to try to say, hey, let's take some of the onus off Josh Allen. We're going to run the football. Well, that worked out pretty well for them. He made less mistakes. He gets compared to Trevor Lawrence in the turnover category. So make less mistakes, Trevor Lawrence, if the ball's in the hands of the running back a little bit more, and you can control that part of the narrative a little bit better. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. And I'm going to give you 2 other ways to look at it. Who do you think would be pushing the running back narrative more here? Genty to Jacksonville. Could Liam Cohen, because we know he likes to run the ball? Or do you think intangibly rich James Gladstone, Austin? Who do you think would be the biggest cheerleader in the building for Ashton Jeanty?
I mean, it has to be both. There can't be... I can't even rank it because I think it's both off the charts for both guys. I think from Ashton Jeanty, from a production standpoint, unless it's Travis Hunter, he's probably the second most productive. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously. I don't even know. But I would assume that Ashton Jeanty is the second most productive player in all of college football. And then when you look at Liam Cohen, what he would think about it, well, you had a guy in Bucky Irving that essentially salvaged your season over Rachaad White, who, by the way, it was running back by committee until it wasn't anymore. And people who drafted Rachaad White super high in fantasy football were pissed off about it. But nevertheless, I think Liam Cohen would be head over heels over Ashton Jeanty just because your offense is going to now run through him. And it takes less pressure off of Trevor, it takes pressure off of Trevor Lawrence. So I think both guys would be ecstatic to have Ashton Jeanty.
Well, I'm going to give you one other thing that I thought was kind of interesting, maybe from the article. Daniel Griffiths mentions this at the end of his article on ActionSportsShacks.com today, and he basically puts a number out there. He says, well, if you had Genty, let's just assume you got Genty, and you get Brian Thomas Jr., you already have Brian Thomas Jr., well, they could touch the ball some 300 to 350 times. And I was like, well, that seems like a lot. Is that true? Yeah, that actually is that does kind of add up. 300 to 350 times, couple hundred totes for the running back, right? 100 plus targets potentially for Brian Thomas Jr., so the ball going in his direction. And I have no idea how many plays you run in a season. Usually get 600 passes, probably get another 400 and something rushes, probably talking about 1,000, 1,100 plays. Well, 30% of the plays could go to those 2 guys. And so I just thought that part was kind of interesting. That's the numbers game of it. If you look at it that way, that basically 1 every 3 plays is touching the hands of one of those 2 guys in an offense that would have Genty potentially. And is that the best way to be successful on offense? It's okay, a lot of people want to build the offensive line. Let's get better there. Protect Trevor, also be able to run the ball. Get the ball into Brian Thomas Jr.'s hands. Okay, but I think Brian Thomas Jr. needs some help. Who's protecting him right now? De'Ami Brown and Gabe Davis and Parker Washington? I mean, don't they have to do better than that? Well, the best way to protect maybe the offensive line, Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr., could it be Ashton Jeanty is the way you could talk yourself into it. So I thought it was just pretty fascinating and kind of a cool concept that would say, hey, 1 every 3 times the Jags run a play, it would be in their hands. And quite frankly, Austin, I would think if you give me 3 downs, I would think it would be 2 every 3 plays that I would give the ball to one of those 2 guys.
No, without a doubt. And once again, it makes Trevor Lawrence's life a lot easier. And that's the most important part that we're talking about here is taking care of your franchise quarterback. There's some quarterbacks in this league, the Joe Burrows. I think now Josh Allen has gotten to this point where it's like, doesn't matter who you're throwing to, you're going to elevate the play around you. Like, it doesn't matter. Could be Mac Hollins, Jamar Chase could go down for a little bit. Like, you're going to find a way to be successful. And there's some quarterbacks that they need a little more help. They need to be elevated by the players around them. And with the sample size of Trevor Lawrence so far, we and once again, it's not just Trevor Lawrence's fault. So this isn't picking on Trevor Lawrence, but we haven't really seen Trevor Lawrence be able to elevate an entire roster quite yet. If you get a guy like Genty, if you have Brian Thomas Jr., if you get another wide receiver in the second round, like, that's only going to help Trevor Lawrence out in terms of, once again, just taking the weight off his shoulders and just saying, hey, man, just go play pitch and catch out there or hand the ball off to Genty, because that's what you need right now. Until Trevor Lawrence shows that, hey, doesn't matter who the wide receivers are, doesn't matter who the weapons are, you can elevate them, we're going to help you out, and that's okay.
Yeah, defensively, Austin, just real quick, just to put a bow on this part of the conversation. From a defensive coordinator standpoint, from a defensive game planning standpoint, the reason why I can continue to talk myself into this is, much like Leonard Fournette changed the offense in 2017, the reason why I thought he changed the offense in 2017 for the Jags was not because he had a good year or he ran physical or he was part of what the culture and what they wanted to do is be more physical and run the ball and all that stuff. It's because defenses now had to game plan for somebody on the Jags offense, right? They weren't going to game plan much for Blake Bortles. He wasn't going to scare everybody in the passing game, even with the weapons they have, especially once they lost in 2017. They lost Allen Robinson right away, remember, on the first, 2 plays of the season. But now I look at it from a defensive standpoint, Austin, you're like, wow, you got a game plan for Ashton Jeanty. Are they game planning for Etienne or Bigsby? I would say, realistically, not scared of them. And you've got a game plan for Brian Thomas Jr. So that puts you in a pretty good bind if you're a defensive coordinator to be like, all right, we got to really keep an eye on 2 guys now, and one that's big and strong, and another one that can also be elusive, and one that can flat out fly, which really scares everybody, because can you keep up with him in Brian Thomas Jr.? So I'm starting to piece this together and look at it that way from a game planning standpoint. Really helps Liam Cohen, helps Trevor Lawrence, and maybe gives defensive coordinators a bit of a nightmare if you could pair these two together.
No, it absolutely does, because look no further than the Super Bowl champions, right? Where if you look at the Eagles and you look at, okay, well, how do we got to go about stopping them? Well, you got to shut down A.J. Brown. Well, you got to make sure Devontae Smith's getting covered up as well. Dallas Goedert can come out and have a pretty big game. Oh, and then by the way, you have the best running back in the NFL in Saquon Barkley, so we got to stop him as well. And with all due respect to Jalen Hurts, because there was one time where he's in the MVP conversation a few years ago, Jalen Hurts isn't necessarily a top 5 quarterback, but once again, he plays on a team that elevates him, where Jalen Hurts does exactly what Jalen Hurts has to do. Right? He gets the ball to his receivers. If he has to take off every once in a while, he makes him a dual threat, target. So that's hard to defend as well. And he plays behind a pretty solid offensive line. When you look at what the Eagles had, 2023 with DeAndre Swift, he was maybe 7th, 8th in rushing? Maybe, I can't remember where he finished, but he wasn't top 5 as far as I remember. Or maybe he was top 5. I can't remember. He might have been 5th. Nevertheless, he was good, and that offensive line was good, but then you brought in Saquon Barkley, and it's the Eagles' offensive line's the best thing to ever happen. And that's the power of having a legit running back. I'm going to say, I think Swift,
by the way,
he finished 6th.
No, he finished 5th. You were right. That was pretty good remembering, by the way.
It's fantasy football, man.
1,049 yards that year. Yeah, true. 1,049 yards that year, too, which, again, second in the NFL that year was Derrick Henry at 1,167. You talk about a year that was down for the running back. 2022 was up 23. If you had 1,000 yards, you were 5th, which is a little surprising. Travis Etienne, by the way, not too far behind. He was 1,008 yards and was down there in 11th place. but easily could have been in the top 5 with just another carry or two that maybe went the distance. But yeah, it's a good point. I think Hamby's Burner just brought up in the chat earlier. It's like, I want to be like Detroit. They've got a brutal backfield. Like, look what Detroit's done. Detroit took, Jamal Williams and who they have, was that Swiftier as well? They got rid of those guys, and then they bring in these guys, and they're even better and more dynamic. They upgraded. So, again, I ask that question, like, where can you upgrade? Are you willing to stand pat with what you've got and say, oh, no, we're okay, or do you want to upgrade? Well, Detroit's a great example of that, and they also gives them an identity. So, I mean, you can really look around not only the Eagles, Austin, but I think if you look at Detroit and what they've done, you look at Tampa and what Cohen did, and you really could again, I've just spent the last 15 minutes talking myself into Genty more and more.
No, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, it is the combination of a great offensive line and you mix it with the running game. Simple as that.
Yeah, simple as that. That is our That One Painter Paint the Player, presented by That One Painter First Coast. ThatOnePainter.com/first-coast, or give them a call at 904-643-3025 from Atlantic Beach to Middleburg to St. Augustine and more. They'll serve Northeast Florida. Locally owned, by the way. They love what they do. Their work brings them joy. They have a passion for it. Stress-free, mess-free service for you. And you love that when people are working at your home, respect your time, and they'll communicate. Oof. That's the hardest part when you get work done sometimes, is that communication. Well, you don't have to worry about it with ThatOnePainter.com, or That One Painter First Coast. You can visit ThatOnePainter.com/first-coast. One other, or a couple other notes from the Adam Schefter article this morning that I thought at least was interesting, Austin, to hit on real quick. He says, draft weekend's a busy time for trades of players already on rosters. They also put something out that this is the closest we've come to a trade in many years, or to the first round in many years without a trade. I think you have to go back to 1993 when Joe Montana got traded like a couple of days before the draft to the Kansas City Chiefs. And so since then, we usually get a trade like somebody's moving their 5th pick or 3rd pick or 1st pick or whatever. None of that so far. So very quiet on that front. What does that say? Who knows? But it adds to the unpredictable nature of this NFL draft. Now, he also says there are players on rookie contracts who could be deemed expendable. He lists Will Levis, Treylon Burks, both Titans, obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal with the Giants, Jalen Hyatt with the Giants, Sam Howell, Tyree Wilson, Greg Newsome, Travis Etienne Jr. is on this list, Austin, as a guy that could get moved, as is George Pickens and Rashad White. So he's a name that's being thrown out there as a possible move piece, which then would bring Genty squarely into play. If Genty does not come to Jacksonville, Travis Etienne staying with the Jags, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's the other plan? Like, yeah, for sure, because you don't have another plan right now. And, like, you're going to need a pass-catching running back, I feel like, in this Liam Cohen offense, and we haven't really seen a lot of that from Tank Bigsby. So, yeah, either you get Genty or you keep ETN, or there better be another play in place in terms of a trade or somebody else out there. But, yeah, I think you keep ETN for sure.
One last one for you, Austin. I'm going to give you some names. You tell me if there's any chance, like any chance the Jags are interested in these guys, because Schefter brings up veterans who could be available via trade. Obviously, last week we found that out about Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, Kirk Cousins, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, Trey Hendrickson. I list those 6 names. Would the Jags have any interest, like legitimate interest, in making a move?
The only guy I can imagine is Jair Alexander. Simply because, we have, a guy from Green Bay now who's our defensive coordinator, so it would make some sense. There is some familiarity there. It's a matter of how much would he be willing to, because I think if you bring in Jair Alexander, he's going to want top dollar, and you have to ask yourself the question, is he worth top dollar?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably why it's been dragging out this long with Jair Alexander, given some of his, obviously, injury history and everything else. So some big names. I thought Goddard, no chance at Goddard, in your opinion?
I mean, you got Brenton Strange. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. I was just curious. And by the way, you brought in 2 veteran guys, too. It's not like you've got a room full of young players. Or you'd be like, hey, let's throw a veteran in there as well. I don't think you'd have any need to do that. Let's take a time out. Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We have our Shock Your Mock presented by Everbank quarterfinals coming up today on the show, and that is coming up next as well. We'll pit a couple of people together. We'll also have another, we'll have 2 quarterfinals actually today, 2 quarterfinals tomorrow, semifinals Wednesday, championship Thursday, prizes on the line, a little Action Sports Jax potential gift box. What's going to be in it? Well, the winner will find out down the road. Shock Your Mock coming up next. The real deal starts on Thursday, of course. Draft night in Duval, and we will have that covered for you. Presented by Everbank, Advantage You. Fox 30, the place to be at 7 o'clock, and then 8 to 10 on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. We begin the day 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. right here on the Brent Austen Show live from Jags headquarters, and we'll have the Lemon Bar Draft Party covered as well. Busy day coming up on Thursday.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jags Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579. Action Sports Jax is the biggest brand in Jacksonville, and we're excited to add another partnership for this team's biggest season yet. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is now the official streaming network of the Jacksonville Sharks for their 15th season.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jax are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajax.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajax.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, the Jacksonville Sharks played as the University of North Florida Ospreys on Saturday night, and unfortunately, the Ospreys are now 0-1 in their football life, and the Sharks are 3-1 on the season. They fall to Massachusetts 42-35, and good thoughts with Tyler King there. Nice run for a touchdown. He would later get hurt in the game, and I know the Sharks folks are pretty fired up about the hit that he took late in that game. We'll see if anything comes down from the Indoor Football League and the folks there. But the Sharks lose 3-1. You could watch that game on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network on Saturday. They hit the road now to go to Quad City this week, and then back home in a couple of weeks, which once again, you can watch all the home games on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We are the official streaming network of the Jacksonville Sharks here in 2025, and that includes Shark Bites each and every week, Friday and Saturday. Check out the show at 7 o'clock on Fridays, 1 o'clock on Saturdays with Coach Gibson and some players to get the latest on the Jacksonville Sharks. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Kim's Corner on a Monday as we hit draft week. And, hey, we're talking about metals. Let's see if I do this right. Nope, plastics and metals. I'm not coordinated very well. I went the wrong way on my pointing. And I'm here at the Republic Services Recycling Center. We've been here a couple of times now. It's really a cool place. We'll have Bill Brinkley coming on, and he'll talk a little bit more about it in just a bit. But what I'm actually like in a classroom setting. It's like a meeting room classroom, and the reason why it's like a classroom is they do a bunch of tours for kids, like elementary school kids and other folks, not just kids, but a lot of different people tour the facility, get educated on recycling. Tomorrow is Earth Day, and I'm looking at the whole facility out a couple of windows, and just what an operation it is. So we'll show you a little bit more later on, and we'll talk a little bit more about what goes on here in Jacksonville, the Public Services Recycling Center. And always, as we always tell you, check out recyclingsimplified.com, how you can recycle better at your home and your workplace. All right, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Shock Your Mock, presented by Everbank, and we've hit the bracket now. Kim, I'm not sure if you have the bracket readily available, and pretty soon we'll hit the Shock Your Mock song and then get into our first quarterfinal. But if we've got to see the bracket in a little bit, that's fine too. There it is. Good. You got it.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Nice work, Kim. So here we go. Shock Your Mock quarterfinals. We're going to have Max Holmes and Cade McCann in our first one today. Sam Phillips and Robert Atzert as well. Tomorrow will be Glenn C., Hamby's, Bernard Dinn, Kilkenny, and Jake Scott as well. And then that will get us to Wednesday's semifinals and into a championship on Thursday with prizes to be won in Shock Your Mock 2025. Kim, let's hit the song.
Shh, I see shock marks.
Duval.
Put it on that beat. Nope.
I am shocked. I am shocked. That's what I mean. I am appalled.
Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Because you guys wouldn't figure it out. Figure it out. Figure it out.
Next year. Hey, you need to get off Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins
and being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
9. Cannot sleep on Kirk. Sleep on Kirk. Sleep on Kirk.
Figure it out.
Even for the internet, it's pretty shocking.
Mel, talk to me. He's got a huge trunk, though.
Figure it out.
He's got a huge trunk, though.
Figure it out.
He's got a huge trunk, though.
Duval.
feel shocked.
Jack the chagrin.
I feel shocked.
Jack the chagrin.
I feel shocked.
Duval. With that, game on.
Game on. Shock Your Mock 2025. Austin, by the way, mentioned trunk in there, and I didn't do it. I didn't take the picture, bring the picture up, but the Jags tweeted the picture of Trevor Lawrence late last week.
Careful. Please be careful.
It looks like he's been hitting the weight room
because of his trunk. Is that what you're saying?
Well, definitely the lower half. Yes.
All right. It's awesome. I have nothing. Kim, when this gets clipped, make sure my face isn't even anywhere near this conversation, please. Casey, if you're listening, you're probably not listening because you don't listen to the show, but when you go back and try to find clips, I'm requesting right now, because you're going to listen to this in post-op or whatever, post-edit, I do not want to have my face associated with any of that conversation, so please take me out of it. Thank you. Just go and replace me with, anybody else. AI it. I don't care.
Yeah, I love how you said, by the way, I wonder if, Casey, it is like post-op.
Oh, yeah. Probably feels like it.
Freudian slip.
It probably feels like it. Yep.
But anyway, we move on to
breaking news.
Shock Your Mock.
Trevor Lawrence has a trunk.
Austin.
Huh?
Well, hey, he put on some weight, it looks like.
Is it dad bod weight, or is it Patrick Mahomes weight? Or are we talking like Anthony Richardson weight?
No, it's more like Anthony Richardson weight. Like
there you go.
I mean, I thought it might have just been the image or the picture. I don't think I was the only one that saw it, but is that part of like get he's not a overall like a muscular guy, right? He's kind of a lanky guy. Wouldn't that be how you would describe Trevor Lawrence to begin with? Tall and lanky, if you will.
I'd say tall and athletic.
He put on weight last year. I guess lanky's probably not enough credit. He's definitely athletic, but he's not. You don't go to you don't feel like Trevor. Wow, he's like a physical specimen like you do Anthony Richardson. I mean, that guy looks like he was built in a lab, But Trevor I think he said he weighed 227 last year, which was the heaviest he had ever been. So he had already made a conscious effort to, put on more weight, become more durable, and I think at least that picture showcased that. I think he made even a more conscious effort to do that this year. I guess I should get the picture next time I'm going to talk about it.
I'll have to see this picture that we're all, oogling over. I'll have to see it.
Kim can work up. Did you find it?
Yeah, let me get it.
Yeah, go and post it up. Let's talk about it. We go from Mugshot Mondays getting canceled to talking about Trevor Lawrence's trunk. Everything's back and right with Brent Austen, I guess.
Yeah. Shock Your Mock can wait for a couple of moments while Kim gets this picture ready to roll.
Literally texted me that we have to keep a deadline for 20 to 30 minutes with this segment, and now we're going off tangent looking at Trevor Lawrence's trunk. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we slide Liv's list a little bit. It'll work. It's okay. We got time.
Duval Daly's getting cut. I can already see that happening. That's all good, though.
That'll be up to you. That only takes like a minute.
Usually, yeah.
All right, let's get into the mock draft, and Kim can get the picture later. It's fine. We don't need it right now. Let's get to it later.
Good.
And you have Cade McCann and Max Holmes. Break it down, Austin Lane.
Well, hang on. Are we each? Because I don't really understand. So, are we going to vote again? Who's going to go on? Do we have to agree on this vote? Right? We can't have.
Yes.
Okay. So you got Cade McCann, you got Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant, Jane Higgins in the first 3 picks. I think the Will Johnson one's interesting because he's fallen down draft boards right now. Maybe like in the late 20s, early, maybe early 30s, or maybe in second round. And I think it's more just a case of some other issues like the injury and stuff. Kenneth Grant, by my sources, well, that's what just their sources, could be a late round steal in the first round. Everything that I'm being told with Kenneth Grant, while everyone has, Mason Graham on their mind, Kenneth Grant is a bigger dude who does possess some pass rush capabilities. And then Jaden Higgins, size, could be an interesting wide receiver for the Jaguars. You pair him with Brian Thomas Jr. You like that? If we look at Mac, do you want to give your first round diagnosis of Cade McCann? Or just like your first, thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Will Johnson's fascinating to me. Just because people aren't talking about him or groupthink him has him down, does that mean he's actually slid down on a bunch of different boards? Is that where some of this, perception is not reality comes into play for this draft? So I think when we talk about, hey, what about a Ty Warren? Or we talk about, what about a Walter Nolan? Or, well, why isn't Will Johnson somewhere in there? What most people would say is there's not a can't miss corner in this draft. And so therefore you wouldn't take him at number 5 or number 10. But this is a draft where Cade traded back to number 10, and that's where he got him. Definitely better than taking him at number 5 from what it would seem to be. I think the question is if the Jags were to be able to trade out, and for some, again, I don't think they're going to be able to, but if they were to trade down into like 15 or 17 or 18, now he becomes very much in play at that spot of the draft instead. So I don't hate it, and you do wonder about it. Is Jarian Jones going to be able to hold that down, or do you need to get an A-plus player in the spot to be able to be opposite Tyson Campbell? Kenneth Grant, to me, checks a box on the interior. There's a lot of value right there in second round for him. Higgins, you add a receiver. I'm not saying I love him, but at least you get him, and you like the second round wide receivers, Austin. And then I think you check boxes on the safety, too. I think people are sleeping on safety for the Jags. I think in the first 3 rounds, to see a safety go off the board would actually fill a need and help rebuild the secondary of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keep in mind, even Murray, who they got from Houston, he's on the older side now. He's like 31 years old. So how much are they going to replenish that safety spot? I don't mind this draft at all. I don't know if I love Johnson at 10, but if you put an 18 in front of that instead of a 10, I feel like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, here's how I look at it. I'm taking which draft is going to help you win right now. And if that's being said, I'm taking Max Holmes. Jared Wilson will be the project, right? He's not going to come in and start right away, but arguably the best center in the draft. Dylan Fairchild, does he get in right away? I'm not sure. In terms of wide receiver, like Jack Beck or Jack's Beach, as we called him. But I think overall, if you're trying to win right now and you can't deny Travis Hunter, if I see both these drafts shaking out like they just did, I'm a lot more ecstatic over Max Holmes than I am for Cade McCann. So I'm going to vote for Max Holmes. Now, you got to decide who you want to vote for, then we have to talk through it if we disagree.
Yeah, I think, listen, I like Max Holmes' draft too. I think in our minds we're just like, okay, it's very unrealistic. Travis Hunter's going to end up at number 5, but if they can get Travis Hunter at number 5, I love it. I'm going to give you another part of this draft that I like from Max Holmes because everybody's talking about running back and Genty. There are actually 2 guys on the right-hand column, both at pick number 142, that I find fascinating for both McCann and Holmes. I think Jack Sawyer is going to be a good player in the NFL. I think there's a lot of value potentially for him, especially if he slips down the board. Most people don't have him slipping down the board to 142 that I have seen. But R.J. Harvey is another one of these guys that we talk about production. You talk about intangibly rich. I actually think both of these players at 142 that we see on this mock draft are very intangibly rich for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Austin. And I like to me, you're going to get your top guys. There's going to be a lot of groupthink up there. If the Jags could land Harvey or Sawyer in the middle of this draft, I think that's going to be really exciting to see what those guys could bring to the table.
No, I agree with you for sure. But it's just, to me, it's the Travis Hunter effect. And that guy brings the most electricity. He brings the most hype and can possibly bring the most talent. So, yeah, I think top to bottom, Cade's draft is better. But once again, I think in terms of winning right now, in terms of excitement, in terms of changing the team around, I'm going with Max.
Max Holmes it is then. Then our quarterfinal number 1 on to quarterfinal number 2. Kim, and I don't know how fast. Oh, look, I guess you can change it pretty fast, can't you? Sam Phillips and Robert Atzert, and this gives us a couple of different looks here now. This is fun. Mason Graham and Luther Burden. Love Luther Burden. Austin does. At least I think he does. And then the rest of that draft. And at the top end of this one, you've got Matthew Golden, and that's a trade back into the middle of the round. And then Gray Zabel, who I think is a pretty interesting prospect, a guy that's played all different positions. And could you have your future center with a guy like Gray Zabel? He played that at the Senior Bowl, and somehow you got Kenneth Grant at number 43 as well. Hard not to like that Robert Etzert draft, but those first two selections for Sam might win the day, Austin.
Yep, I got Sam Big here. With all due respect to Robert, top to bottom, your draft is better, even though there's like a million trades. You know how I feel about all that stuff. You got probably the best value of Kenneth Grant going number 43 overall. Trey Amos can actually come in, maybe play pretty quickly as well. Don't like how you got a running back at 70, even though, Quinton Judkins could be the real deal. But at the end of the day, it's Mason Graham, who I think is the guy, and then it's Luther Burden, who I think is also the guy. So we're taking two guys that I like a lot. So I'm taking Sam Phillips, Brent, but feel free to chime in and try to go against me a little bit. We can kind of hash it out if you want.
Yeah, I don't think there's a. I think if you got those two guys in the first two picks, I think you're really doing. I think it's a pretty winning draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think a lot of people would like that. But I actually do like the fact that in the third round you get a running back, and in the third round you also get a tight end. Like, you add to that. So I think you're checking some boxes here with wide receiver, running back, tight end. You're helping Trevor out. You help the defensive interior because you also get Walker down there, different Walker, by the way, along with Graham. And then you can build your offensive line a little bit later on. The only thing I don't like about that top draft from Sam Phillips is edge. You don't have it. I still would sit here and wonder what the heck you're doing from a depth standpoint in your pass rush, if this is the way it were to shake out. But we know it's not going to fully shake out like this. Meanwhile, Robert, he probably could pick 4 edges because he picked 500 guys in his draft.
There you go.
That's too many. That's too many, by the way. Like 2, 4, 6, 7, 14 different draft picks. We don't have enough roster spots for the Jags to have 14 different draft picks. I want quality over quantity here. So I think Sam Phillips is who we pick here, Austin.
Sam Phillips it is.
All right, so Sam's on, and what did we say on the first one? It wasn't. Was it Cade?
I already forgot about it.
First one.
I think it was Cade, yeah. Or no, was it? I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, it was Max. It was Holmes.
This is why we should have let the internet decide for. Yeah, okay, gotcha. So it's Max?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
There you go.
Our votes are 3 votes. Max Holmes wins the first quarterfinal as well. So there is Shock Your Mock presented by Everbank 2025. A couple quarterfinals in the books. See, we move that one a little faster, and we'll see what we find out tomorrow and get a couple others into the semifinals, which will take place on Wednesday. Did you find the picture? Let's see. I think you sent me a text, Kim, so let me. Yes, that is the picture, Kim, if you do have the Trevor Lawrence picture. There we go.
All right. Yep. Looks like he's getting ready to throw a football.
Looks like he's been in the weight room.
As quarterbacks do. Yep. Looks like he's looking downfield.
He's been in the weight room.
Looks like he's looking downfield. Looks like he's getting ready to throw a football, as quarterbacks do. I don't know, man. Did he add 5 to 10 pounds to his trunk? I don't know, man. Not really looking at it. Trying to see a throw in motion. Trying to see, what he's looking at. Trying to see where he's at. I assume that's a practice facility. I'm all good. We move,
and this is courtesy of the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the way. We move.
Give him credit. Who took the picture?
Well, I got to give him credit because that's where we took it.
No, I'm saying who was the actual photographer who took the picture?
No, I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to give that person credit. Yeah, I know.
Well, he works for the Jags, or she, so Jaguars get the credit on this one.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. I don't care about Trevor Lawrence's butt, but that's just me. I'll just go out there and say it.
Well, that's fine. I just think it's. I think Liam Cohen said at the NFL owners meetings, like Trevor Lawrence is, like he almost said, "Hey fans, just so you know, he's working." Ironically, his butt off. And so he's putting a lot of work in, rehabbing and coming back from injury and everything else. And I think this is part of like when especially when you see these Jags players year after year, you kind of wonder how they reimagine themselves or what they work on in the offseason. And one was getting healthy. But even last year, he gained some weight to try to get more durable, like when he would run the ball or take some hits. And this is still probably top of mind for him. There's also, you got new strength and conditioning staff in Austin. So, like, could that advice be different than the last regime's advice? So I think there's a lot going on here, not just for Trevor, but also for any other player. And there was a big conversation last year when Ryan Nielsen came in and all these guys started gaining weight, right? 10, 12, 14 pounds. And what will it look like this time around for the Jags? What are they going to go after? What are they going to identify that, hey, this player could be a lot better if they did what? I feel like this is more motivated by Trevor just trying to be healthy. It's definitely top of mind after the last 2 years of him staying healthy. So can he do everything in his power, whether that's add a few pounds, whether that's hit the leg rack a little bit more, whatever that looks like, to say, hey, I feel comfortable that I can stay as healthy as possible, even though this is a violent game.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying here. My 2 points are this. It doesn't matter how big the trunk is. If someone cheap shots you in the head, like, the brain's the brain.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna, you can't do anything in terms of a weight room to help the brain out. So, like, when he got knocked out, like, that's what it was. It was a cheap shot. Like, there's nothing you can do for that. So, like, that's why Trevor Lawrence was out last year. That's why we didn't get to see Trevor Lawrence for those last few games. Not because he was undersized. It was because, well, his head got hit, and that happens sometimes. And my other point is, I understand, like, and there's certain positions in the NFL where we are enthralled with what the physique looks like, as you should. Whether it's offensive linemen, defensive linemen, guys in the trenches, right? Sometimes running backs as well. And we can even go down like the whole wide receivers thing. Cool. I look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, who everyone wanted to say, well, he looks lean. He lost a lot of weight. That's not going to work out well. And then I watched Lamar Jackson statistically have the best season of his entire life last year. So, like, I don't put a lot of stake necessarily into, like, quarterbacks putting on weight, losing weight, what they look like, because at the quarterback position, it takes all shapes and sizes, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of an elephant in the room when it comes to Trevor this year. And I know we're not close to the season yet, so maybe the... Very good. Very good. Gosh, I feel like I'm doing a show with Stuart Weber today. Between your run pun and now your elephant pun. Very good.
That's a compliment.
But yeah, well, take it however you want. I think the elephant in the room, seriously, though, as we get closer to this season, and nobody's going to want to talk about it because you don't want to, like, jinx it. I don't want to bring it up. He needs to stay healthy this year. Like, it's kind of like this given thing that your quarterback needs to stay healthy, but he really needs to stay healthy, Austin. Like, the luck has to be on his side because it's been 2 years now. 2 years in a row where he couldn't really finish the season. Well, one, he couldn't finish the season. The other one, he couldn't finish it the way he wanted to finish it because he was so banged up and trying to get back. And it just was not, nobody's 100%, but he wasn't close to it in December and January the last 2 years. So, I mean, if like he can't get hurt again this year, or it becomes part of a label then, if it's 3 years in a row that you just don't want.
No, I understand that. I think, like, I look at it like, how do these injuries stem from? Right? Like, is he a dual threat guy where he's got to put on some weight, a la like a Josh Allen or a la like a Cam Newton because he's going to absorb contact? Like, that's not really his style. Like, he'll take off and run every once in a while. Now, will that look different in Liam Cohen's offense? I don't think so, because Baker Mayfield kind of felt under the same vein where there was not a lot of designed runs for Baker Mayfield. He just had the vision and the wherewithal to take off if it was open. That's all you need Trevor Lawrence to do. And I get, like, we can say, okay, is he injury risk? You know, he's been out the past couple seasons now with injuries and everything. And I just looked to see, like, what those injuries were. Like, what kept him out. And once again, like, it doesn't make a difference if you're built like Cam Newton or if you're built like Kyler Murray. Like, if you get hit in the head like that, it's going to have an effect. Like, there's nothing that, I mean, obviously, you know, maybe getting rid of the ball, not taking off, whatever the case may be, right? And he's going to have to decide exactly when he wants to run, when he wants to throw the ball away, and when the game's on the line, do you want to risk it for the biscuit? Those are all justifiable stances. But there's nothing that he could have done in terms of, slide earlier? He slid perfectly fine, and it was a cheap shot. So I'm not going to fault Trevor or, like, put an asterisk next to Trevor because he got knocked unconscious because of a cheap shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to either, but I do think if he can't make it through this year, other people will. And they won't categorize it as detailed as you are. And so I just think it becomes a very important year for him to stay healthy. And to his credit, by the way, he's done everything he can do. He's putting on weight. He's hitting the weight room, all this other stuff to try to combat even the smallest of injuries. Now I think you need a little lady luck on your side when it comes to injuries in the NFL. And he's going to need that. He's going to need protection. He's going to have to take care of himself, and he's going to need a little luck to make sure, kind of like 2022 when he almost got hurt against the Detroit Lions. And it came back like out in the third quarter, and everybody thought the season might be done. Like, that's the kind of luck that you need in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes has had that. I think hopefully he gets that this year and stays as clean as possible. Brent Martin, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Let's take a time out. We come back. We talk a little bit of recycling here from Republic Services Recycling Center. Earth Day tomorrow. What you can do to be a better recycler at home, at your workplace, and more. We'll do that. Plus, Liv's List. And at noon, we're talking draft picks and best and worst part of the conversation. From the Jacksonville Jaguars in their history. There's a look at the Republic Services Recycling Center. We visited now a couple of times. Pretty cool operation here. Tell you more about it on the other side of the break.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter, First Coast, a call at 904-417-3557. Or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter, First Coast, on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jax 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand. Wait on a sign above, and I am ready.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School. Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School. Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School. Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard Built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Well, you can see it in our commercial. Look at Marcel Robinson in action right there here at the Republic Services Recycling Center in Jacksonville. And we were here about, I don't know, now a month and a half ago, and we got a tour of this facility. Pretty unbelievable to see what goes on a day-to-day basis. And, well, now we can talk to you a little bit more about how you can help on the eve of Earth Day 2025. Brent Martineau here at the Republic Services Recycling Center. And we can tell you all the time, Recycling Simplified. The place to go to find the best way to recycle. Or we could just bring Bill Brinkley in, and he's the general manager up here of this facility, and you can tell us all about it instead. How you doing, man?
Hey, very good, Brett. Thanks for having me on the show here, and thanks for coming out here and doing this.
This is we're in like a classroom setting. I tried to explain to folks, well, the facility's right there, watching it all in action, so you can keep an eye on it. But we've got signs back here. You bring a lot of kids and adults and try to educate people. And that's really what we've tried to do too, right? Just try to educate people on recycling.
Absolutely. I got this philosophy. We have field trips here, especially with the adult field trips. The kid field trips are great with the schools and everything. But if I tell adults, if you learn anything when you leave here, tell 8 other people and multiply that out. So we're constantly, pushing the right way to recycle. And with Earth Day tomorrow, that's our big event. Although we truly feel like Earth Day is every day.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I just have some examples of what's good.
We're gonna get into that in a minute. But you just said tell 8 other people. That's an interesting kind of number to bring out, because I think we did. Like Marcel and I both did. You actually do get impacted pretty good by seeing the operation. So the tours probably really work once you kind of see all the do's and don'ts and what you kind of have in your mind of recycling. And it's like, well, okay, but maybe not as much as you think. Like you might think you're doing a pretty good job, and you're going to give us examples of that in a bit. And you're like, well, actually, you shouldn't be recycling that.
So many times, folks, when they leave here, they go, "Oh, I feel so guilty." But I will tell you, the elementary school kids, when they come here, they all always admit this is their favorite field trip. And it's just great. And so many schools have been here multiple times over the years. So it's really good to have them. All
right. So educate us a little bit. What did you got some props that you brought over?
I mean, I just bought a couple, but again, aluminum, it's a good, and it doesn't matter if it has Dr. Pepper or whatever on it. Just make sure it's empty. That's a great recycling product. Clear plastic, water bottles, things of that nature. That's.
I just recycled my water bottle.
I saw that. I should have got that on video. Tin and metal cans, another good thing. And it's okay to leave the wrapper on. Our Recycling Simplified website doesn't have wrappers because we're not promoting a name brand of anybody, but it's fine to leave it on. Just make sure it's clean inside, and make sure your water bottle is empty, not full of water. Okay, and if it's empty, you can put the cap back on and leave the cap on.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. So before you get to the next thing, I just want to. There's some interesting things here. See how clean this is.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that you learn. It's like, okay, well, if you can just take the extra minute to rinse it out, it really helps from a contamination point of view once it gets to the facility, right?
It does. And look, we push for 100% perfection, understanding that not everything may be 100% rinse. I get that. But as long as you make the effort and then, empty it out, you don't have to stick a paper towel in there and dry it out. Just, shake the water out and then put the cap back on and put it in your recycle bin.
All right. And then probably one of the biggest mistakes you're going to show us that gets made from a recycling standpoint, we think plastic.
Yes, and I want to also reiterate paper. That's good too. Paper, newspapers are kind of a thing of the past, but papers, magazines, we'll take those too. Junk mail, that's fine.
Hey, by the way, if you go through the facility, you're like, I've kind of joked about this in the past, and we did when we were here. It's like, well, you can see what kind of beer cans people are drinking, what kind of beer people are drinking.
Yes.
And then you can also be like, wow, people still get the newspaper.
Yes. Occasionally we'll see one come across. Yes.
And then you see a lot of this.
Yeah, we see this loose plastic, and look, we go to the store, we go shopping a lot, and when you give you these bags, you can simply, take everything out and then take this back to the store. Don't put it in your recycle bin, and don't bag your recyclables and tie it up and put it in. And the rule of thumb is if you can put your finger through it, it can't go through this system here. There's two reasons. One, they jam up our system.
Yeah.
And two, there's been a few times folks have bagged material, but also some bad material like needles and stuff like that. And when our sorters rip it open, they can pop out and poke them. So we just say, take this back to Publix, empty, and put it in their bag, their box right outside their store.
Yeah, and the stores do that now.
They do that
for that reason.
I'd say Publix, this is the Publix bag.
Yeah.
Winn-Dixie, all of them.
Yeah. The other thing, you mentioned paper. Is it any size paper? Because another thing that I noticed during our tours, people play the lottery a lot. And so they obviously throw out their lottery tickets. But is there a certain size or even the smallest of paper or what?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brent. Well, when it comes down to it, we play this rule. If it's smaller than a credit card, then throw it away because it won't make it through the system here at all. But paper, anything, but if it's a small piece of plastic, it won't make. So use a credit card as an example size, and if it's smaller than that, then it can go away.
What's the technology? You've been working in this business for a bit, so some of this looks like kind of old school equipment, hard equipment, obviously that is running all day and has to get through a lot of garbage,
right.
Quite frankly. But then there seems like there's some good modern technology as well. What's the mix like at a recycling center like this and probably all around the country?
Well, our biggest piece of technology is our eddy current. It sucks the aluminum off the belt. So everything's, and look, we have multiple belt lines. So when it comes in out of the truck, up the belt, that's where it all starts. And the average contamination rate from everything that comes in is about 24%, which has gotten better over the years. But now, when it goes through the system, we got this eddy current that sucks the aluminum off. We got this system that blows the light plastic off. And so we have a lot of it. And then we're getting ready to install new optical sorters that will visually see the commodity and remove it. And so our sorters out here, their big job is to remove the bad.
Yeah.
Take the bad out.
Like the hammers.
Yes, the hammers. And I do want to stress this. Batteries are not recyclable, especially lithium rechargeable batteries. Those are fire producers. And we had a fire in our baler a couple of weeks ago. They get compacted. It cannot come out of the system. And this is just bad. They're bad, one, for garbage trucks, the collection trucks, and they're bad for the centers that take them. So and recyclingsimplified.com has paths you can go, or you can go on the City of Jax website and they have a path for you to take batteries too as well.
Bill Brinkley here with us. This was from a while back. This has now been, you guys have really, this was a lot at the time, right?
Yes,
and there was a reason I think there was a lot
There was, St. Johns County, they have another waste hauler down there, and they were taking it down south, and then something where they couldn't take it down there, so they asked to bring it in. And recycling's first, so we made it happen, but we didn't have enough folks on the second shift to accommodate it. But now we have enough, and they're bringing it to us right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't remember the tonnage that you guys said. How much
we'll
do you
bring
go
in
through
about
in a day?
300 tons a day.
Wow.
But if you think about it, paper, plastic, that's light. Okay.
True.
So glass does come in too. That's the heavier, but and we do recycle glass, but it's a lot of material. We process about 30 tons per hour. So in a 10-hour shift, we can get through to 300 tons.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
minus any jams that can occur.
Which again, that gets back to the efficiency, right?
Yes.
The more efficient you are as a recycler at home and at your workplace, it becomes an easier process on this side of it.
Yes.
And we're seeing workers. This is still like we think everything's done by machine lately.
Right.
That's not the case.
No, they're there to pluck out the bad. That's what they're doing, and they multiple lines they do that, and they do a great job. But when it comes in around that 24% contamination rate, when it's baled at the very beginning, when you start your tour here, it's at less than 1.5%.
Amazing.
So we have knocked out a lot of bad stuff out of garbage.
And I think I can't stop thinking about. We played for the kids when they were little. Is that Jack Johnson album?
Yes.
The Curious George one.
Yes.
And the 3 R's, right?
Yep.
But that's one thing.
Oh,
But you guys have the different message, and it's recyclingsimplified.com. It's a very simple message, but easy to find at recyclingsimplified.com.
Absolutely. But even the 3 R's, recycle, reduce, reuse, that's huge too. If you can reduce your use of something or reuse it multiple times, like many folks in their kitchen, they have a recycle bin, they have a white plastic bag, they put it in there, they tie the bag. No, don't tie it. Just empty the bag loose into your cart, and then put the bag and reuse the bag. So
how far have we come in the last couple of decades since we were playing that song, maybe, or have we reverted back? Like, where are we as society right now as the education continues and Earth Day is tomorrow?
Well, it's continuous education, and look, I'm in this business and I audit my recyclables every day because the chores are sometimes the kids' job. And so that's why we really push field trips and things of that nature for them to come out and learn and for them to tell friends and them tell their friends. But at the end of the day, you just have to show them, hey, what's this doing in here? Why is this in here? But when it comes down to it, though, we are recycling a lot better today than we were 20 years ago.
Well, that's
the
good.
City of Jacksonville and communities around, municipalities around have done a great job.
We've got a question. What about old books? Do you recycle that?
Hard, yeah, they can go in there.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can be recycled.
Yes.
I've got kind of a silly question for you, maybe. Where does it all go? So, like, what does it get repurposed as? Right. Like, do we have some things that are pretty common use that are like, hey, well, that's a product of what you did at home?
Well, we and I know like multiple brands, Coca-Cola, that they promote the recyclable bottles that their products in. But what our deal is it comes through our system. We process it. We bale it as plastics, paper, cardboard, and then third-party brokers, they buy it and then they sell it back to the manufacturers that want to make new paper products, new plastic products, new aluminum. So it's just really specific buyers, brands don't come and buy from us. It's third-party brokers that come in and buy it. And
there's cool little details that you learn when you take a tour here, too.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them was we saw a picture earlier of the separated plastic bottles, the one with like all the white bottles or clear bottles, and then the other one with the color bottles, like, I don't know, Tide or dish detergent or something like that. Now, those have mostly or all have already been recycled.
They're probably what I've noticed the most. A lot of those have come from recycled products, but a lot of the drinking bottles have too, and the Coca-Cola and Pepsi, things of that nature. And but I just love the way those are collected over there because those are obviously our sorters. It by color because it's tough for a machine to do that now.
They're doing their job.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with it. You look at that, I see it there. It's well done.
That's pretty fascinating, though. I mean, that's just a wall separating it, and you can see the two. So, and then this gets all compacted, basically what looks like a pallet of recyclable stuff and then shipped out. So part of the efficiency here at the Republic Services Recycling Center. How big, you said Earth Day is every day, but people are kind of ears up a little bit more, right, on an Earth Day.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of stories, and just it's a day that we really push to continue to educate, but we try to educate every day.
Is there if there's a group that wants to take a tour, is it pretty easy to do, or how does that work?
Absolutely. I didn't bring her card, but our Tiffany.
Yeah. Tiffany. She's been great.
They have any questions, they can email me, Bill Brinkley. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. Well, check out the site too. You got Republic Services website, Recycling Simplified. You can get the contact info, but you can actually. Oh yeah, we
encourage if someone wants to come out and do a tour, at least 5, 6, or more is better. Individual tours get tough sometimes.
True, yeah.
So multiple folks from communities, things of that nature. Yeah.
All right. Bill Brinkley, General Manager here at Republic Services Recycling Center. Have a good Earth Day. And by the way, Bill Brinkley, the General Manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, says 5th overall pick Mason Graham. So there you go.
I had to make my pick.
Everybody's got to make the pick.
Defense wins championship.
Either way, either save that Thursday night or definitely recycle it by Friday.
Yes,
if it's not right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Brett. Appreciate it.
Good to be out here. Really cool place. Eye-opening and very educational. And again, the best way to be educational about it, recyclingsimplified.com. All right, get back to work, man. Appreciate it. We're going to keep talking some ball. And thanks for all you do out here at Republic Services, recyclingsimplified.com. All right, let's bring Austin Lane back into the fold here on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. And get you out here sometime. This is the first time I was coming out today, Austin, so I was like, well, I got to make sure everything works. In case it doesn't, you're doing the show by yourself. But it's a really cool place to see the operation in how it works and get educated out here right around Earth Day from Republic Services and Recycling Center.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely educated. I want to apologize on behalf of my house at Neptune Beach, how I probably haven't been doing my part a lot because I definitely made some mistakes in terms of my recycling stuff, which she was mentioning. So I will try to do better, and hopefully I will make people's jobs a lot easier in doing so.
Yeah, well, by the way, you can get you can always do better at it, but I genuinely, once I came out here, I think about it like so much more. Like or I'll watch something out, and it's like if I can do that most of the time or whatever, I think that's what they're asking everybody else to do. But you got to be educated. Like I want to know the plastic bag thing. And I know they have that where I just don't go to the grocery store enough, I guess, anymore. You can bring it back to the grocery store. And Stuart was telling me that's what he does all the time. But I kind of feel like we just might put those things away and use them again in our own home. But until I got here and say, oh, that's the thing they really don't like because it gets stuck in all the machines, that plastic bag from the grocery store. So even that little bit of knowledge is good. All right, I don't know if we have Liv's list in the studio or if she's coming in just a bit.
She's
we
here.
do. Oh, there we go.
Aspen is here.
Oh, there she is.
Aspen's here.
Offer me some emotional support.
Hey, we never know what Liv's doing. So
to be determined.
To be determined. TBD.
All
right, Liv, what are you bringing to the table today?
All right, well, I'm going to feed off of your Earth Day celebrations and recycling and stuff. So I looked up a few fast facts about Earth Day. Do you guys know when it launched? What year?
Oof. Yeah. 1932.
Oh, wow. We're going way back.
I have no idea.
It's going to be later than that. It's going to be like, I've got a feeling it's going to be like 1987.
Ooh, close. You're way closer than 1930. 1970. It launched. Okay. So it obviously started in America, and then by 1990, more than 140 countries started partaking in Earth Day. Nice. So here's my one thing that my mom does that it irks me because I'm such I love the environment, I love conservation and all that stuff. My mom brushes her teeth and leaves the water running.
Mm-hmm.
And that drives me up a wall. Like, do you turn off your water? Brush
Absolutely
your teeth?
not. No,
You don't?
I let that water run. Liv, you know what drives me crazy? When you have to turn the faucet on and off when you're like,
why?
Because it's too much.
You have another hand.
It's simply too much.
It's
I'm sorry.
on, off.
I'm gonna be honest. If I hear somebody like in another room doing that, where they keep on turning the faucet on and off,
all right. So
it
here's
bothers
the thing.
me.
I'm gonna move in with Austin.
Okay.
And I'm gonna drive him up a wall.
Sounds
until
like a reality TV show waiting to happen.
Until I get it right with him.
Live in Austin. That's too like live in Lane.
Austin, and I don't know.
Live in
Lane. Live in Lane. I like that.
That's good.
Live in Lane on Avenue or something like that.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, so Austin wastes.
Hey, by the way, if you guys, Austin should really move in with Stuart, who, well, I guess I shouldn't say this out loud.
Oh no, maybe not. Give his address
maybe I
away
shouldn't say this out loud
because of his street name.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I got you.
Let's just say the street lane is pretty close.
It is
very, very close.
So,
I'm trying to steal that sign too, but it's all good.
Just tried to steal it.
One other thing here before Liv continues is I thought Austin was his rebuttal was going to be, you know what I really don't like?
People turning it off.
Brush your teeth.
People that get annoyed that people leave it running.
Oh. Yeah.
That's where I thought he was going.
I could never, Austin. You're wasting 8 gallons a day.
8 gallons?
Yeah.
8 gallons?
Of water. Leaving your water running.
I drink that after a session of training. It's fine. It'll be all right.
Okay.
He hasn't gone to the dentist in 20 years.
Yeah.
We're starting low, people. We're
8 gallons. My word. Seriously, that's 8 gallons a day, though?
That's 8 gallons a day.
I don't think so. I think you're wrong. Because, I brushed my teeth twice. We're going to map this out.
That's 4 minutes.
Yeah, but really?
Do you brush your teeth for the 2 minutes allotted time?
I mean, I have the Oral-B, now I'm getting super bougie here. I have the Oral-B app, where it tells me when to go.
Oh, yeah.
I try to get a minute 45 in. Yeah.
Okay, so.
What?
You have an app that tells you how long to brush your teeth?
Oh, dude, I take my tooth.
That's why he hasn't gone to the
very
dentist.
Seriously. Yeah.
Doesn't need the dentist.
It's like this high-tech tooth. Listen, I don't splurge on a lot. My teeth is one of them. So I bought this nice toothbrush, and then it's got an app where it'll tell you where to brush and how hard to brush and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, man. It holds my hand through the whole process. And I like it.
I thought I knew who you were.
Toothbrush chaperone. What? What's wrong with that? You see these pearly whites? You hating on those?
Oral-B.
Oral-B.
Get that endorsement.
Kim,
cut the check.
Kim, have you ever heard of this?
The app?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, use the toothbrush.
Well, I've used a toothbrush,
But have you heard the Oral-B toothbrush?
I've heard of the one with the app where it shows you where to brush. I'm not that bougie. I do have an electric toothbrush.
Brent, don't try to drag me down to a level where it's I can't believe we're talking about Trevor Lawrence's BBL for 20 minutes. Don't even talk about me brushing my teeth a certain way. It's not the same thing.
I will say I also have an electric toothbrush. I have the Snow toothbrush. Have you seen that with the blue light?
No.
So
I like it though. It sounds cool.
You use whitening toothpaste with the blue light, and it obviously enhances it. But it also has a timer, so it'll do. I can't remember it, but it'll obviously you start brushing your teeth, you start on the back, and then it'll stop, and then it'll start again a second later, and you're supposed to move quadrants.
Yeah, same thing with the Oral-B one. Yeah. See, Liv, we're on
Mine doesn't come with an app, though.
Brent's
Mine's just you got this, I believe in you.
No,
Go
look,
ahead.
we're crushing the teeth game. We got Captain Gingivitis over there. Hey, I'm 10 sometimes.
Okay, Brent's birthday is coming up.
I'm just trying to get people to recycle here.
I know, man. But, hey, man, you spent $400 on a bread maker or whatever? No, a toaster.
A toaster.
Don't worry about how I'm brushing my teeth.
Yeah. Listen, Brent's birthday's coming up. Do we invest in one of our electric
toothbrushes?
toothbrushes?
We're definitely gonna get him the whole box set. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
sure. Say no
Brent,
more.
I hope you're ready for this.
All right, what else you got?
All right. Okay, so maybe what time is it? Almost noon. 2 hours ago, the 129th Boston Marathon kicked off.
Dang, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. Oldest and most prestigious marathon. 30,000 runners from around the world are running it. It was also pretty cool because they're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Revolutionary War. So members of the Massachusetts National Guard showed up for the, I guess, not the kickoff of the race, but the start of the race.
To kind of support, show out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So look forward to seeing who wins that one. All the returning winners from last year showed up. So can they go back to back?
And here's me being an old person going to look up what the weather in Boston is today to see if they have a great race or
They did say it was almost ideal.
55 degrees, 29% humidity, partly cloudy. Sounds
Almost
like a pretty
ideal?
good race. That sounds legit.
Okay.
That's football weather right there.
Oh. Or Boston Marathon.
That sounds like a summer day in Boston.
Yeah.
What another? All right, so I'm going back to my college days. The last one here.
Let's go.
No more Panama City spring break. That is gone. I hope you all rebook your spring break times. Because
what do you mean it's gone?
It's gone. The law, like police were like, we are no longer like hosting Panama City spring break. Like I don't know what they're gonna do to deter people away from it because they've already been trying to manage it as far as like, you know, keeping drugs off the streets and fights and all that stuff. It was like 2022. They had 160 people arrested at Walmart.
Wow.
For like trashing Walmart. So I don't know how they're going to deter people from this. I don't know if they shut down bars or like, I don't know. But
tourism, I think, takes a giant hit, though.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like residents are like, I get it, but also like I'm a local business and I thrive.
Yeah.
You know, like ice cream shops or swag shops,
liquor
or
stores,
all that stuff. I mean, yeah, liquor. So first and foremost,
did you ever do Panama City Beach?
I did.
Me too.
I
Me
saw
too.
Luke Bryan live on the beach, and it was the best time.
So
absolute best time.
Listen, like this is back when it was like MTV Spring Break when
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
It was legit.
I can't really talk about a lot on this channel, but there is there's a very viral YouTube video that surfaced back in, it would have been 2008, involving a bunch of Alabama kids and a scene on the beach, and I'm in the background of this video.
Oh, do we pull it up?
I mean, it'd probably it'd be hard to find. There's a lot of views, and I stick out, obviously, spoiler alert. But yeah, I mean, I've been to Panama City Beach twice for spring break.
Yeah,
and,
fun. It's a good, it was a good time.
It was a great
I guess.
time. Brent, Panama City Beach?
I've been to Panama City Beach for like youth baseball and softball tournaments, and I think maybe that's what they want to get into more. That's maybe the business that they want instead of
spring break.
The party goers. Hey, you guys both went to Panama City Beach then. Like, so was Daytona Beach still a thing? Is it still a thing? Like, where else are the party spots? Like, where are people coming to today's day and age to go party?
I think obviously Miami.
Yeah, Miami. I think
That's a
Mexico,
big one.
right?
Mexico is a huge one.
Yep.
Isn't there one in
Miami is interesting. Okay, so we just said this this weekend. So we had some friends that we know, and their kids are in college and in like a fraternity, and I didn't even know this stuff happened, but they're in the fraternity, and so they have like a formal or something, and like their formal, like one goes to Auburn, and their formal was in New Orleans, and then the other one goes to Florida, and their formal was in Miami. It's like, oh, why don't you just like have a party wherever you're at? Why are you like going to another place? And so we said, Miami for college kids, is it really that great? Because it's so expensive. Like, I mean, like the cover to get into a place is like $50. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense that Miami would be a great spring break place.
That's fair. That's fair. I just went to Miami last year, and like, yeah, I mean, easily you dropped $2,000 for a week, just like on hotels, and then like
that's stressful.
Drinks there alone and all that stuff.
That's stressful.
That's stressful.
Hey, this is why you have a savings account, people, for stuff like Miami.
Well, I guess when you got like the NIL now, like kids aren't really worried about it.
I
Like,
also
I'm saying
think
like the regular college kid, like you probably.
I also think like sorority and fraternity kids, like they're gonna have that money.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, at least like when I was in college, like those kids were always rocking the Louis Vuittons and stuff like that. Us as the athletics department, the one rule from our coach was you were not allowed to be in a sorority or a fraternity.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you had to focus on cheerleading. You couldn't be in a Greek life. So I
Really?
couldn't tell you, but I do remember like one of my best friends, her boyfriend was in a fraternity, and their formal was never in Tampa. Like they always went somewhere.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, I mean, there's
I
something
didn't even
about
know
like,
there was a formal until
getting
the
in like in the van and road tripping and like I mean that's part of the spring break experience. 'Cause
Yeah.
we'd always drive. I mean, I would drive from Murray to Panama City, and then my friends from Wisconsin would drive from Wisconsin. They would come down to Kentucky, scoop me up, and then we'd all go together to Panama City.
wow.
Yeah.
For me, it was just
That's
like
pretty wild at Panama City shutting it down, though. I mean,
Yeah.
go ahead, Liv. What's for you? And also tell me about Daytona, folks. Like, is Daytona just in old songs now, or is it still a place people go?
Oh, I never went there for spring break or like had it as a destination. I think just because like we were on the West Coast, and this probably makes no sense, but we were just going to stay on the West Coast of Florida.
Yeah.
You know, so like driving to Panama City felt a lot easier than driving, even though it might not be from Tampa.
Got to get those white sand beaches there.
Yeah, like the
Coast,
beaches
or
are
the
just
West
way
side.
better on the West Coast. So going to Daytona didn't seem appealing to us because the Gulf of Mexico is obviously like beautiful compared to the ocean.
Yep.
So yeah, that in our mind it was let's stay on this side and do this side. So
I think for us, so I mean, you know, for a bunch of guys, it wasn't really necessarily about these nice white sand beaches. It was more of just like, where's the biggest party gonna be at?
Yeah.
Like,
Panama City.
Panama City. Yeah.
Gosh, I can't imagine you drove.
Oh yeah.
No, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
I don't do that kind of road tripping.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's why.
Why didn't Jacksonville ever get in the spring break rotation? Could it be? Could you make it a destination for spring breakers?
I feel like it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like I feel like it is when I go out to the beach. Like you can tell when like spring breakers are here. It's very populated. And like obviously like you have like the beaches like downtown areas way more like busy.
Yep.
But it doesn't ever feel like people don't come here to go to downtown Jacksonville. They come here to go to the beaches.
Correct. But also I think like the beaches, they can't like the beach bars. There's not like beach clubs.
Yeah.
Like
no.
Panama City Beach had like a million clubs you could go to
yeah.
like, on the beach. Shout out to Club La Vela. I remember. Yeah, do my thing there. Like Jacksonville beach doesn't really have that.
Like a club scene, yeah.
Yeah. Like you can go to like there's some bars on the beach, but it's not like that spring break party atmosphere. I feel like.
Yeah. There's not Luke Combs on a beach stage.
There we go.
Performing.
Exactly.
There's
and plus,
not that.
you can't drink on the beach technically, right?
You're not allowed to have glass.
Okay, you can't have glass.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But you can have like a.
You can have like as long as it's in like a non-discrete cup.
Red Solo cup.
Yeah.
Red Solo cup.
Or a tumbler or
well,
something.
or maybe you can't live, but you can get away with it.
You can get away with it. It's
Yeah.
who gets caught.
I'm trying to get it right. Hey, let's not go back to Mugshot Mondays, Liv. I thought we're past that. Come on now.
We're bringing it back.
All right, Liv, is that it? You got it?
That's all. I
Liv's
only
list.
do 3.
No more spring break at Panama City. That's wild.
No more.
It's crazy. I think it's wild that the cops basically are like, yeah, we ain't policing this anymore, so don't come down.
Yeah. Like we're done.
I don't know if you.
We're out.
I don't know if you really get that choice. Like you might have to police with whatever's in your city.
Oh, I would quit then. I would ask for a transfer or something. I don't want to deal with drunk college kids
No.
the whole week. Because it's like
it'd
2
be
weeks.
awful.
Because it's like
Yeah.
the first week, there's second. Yeah, there's no way.
It's 2 weeks in Panama City.
No way.
Absolute chaos. It's always a good time.
It actually would be awful. There's nothing more dumb than a bunch of drunk college kids.
No.
This is true.
That is very true.
All you can do is go to the Florida Georgia game.
Oh, dude, it's such a rude awakening because like even so on Saturday I had to run to Walgreens just to my mom was in town, so I had to get her some stuff. So I went to Walgreens and there was it was spring break, it seemed like, but there was a bunch of just drunk, I would say college kids in there causing us a scene a little bit in front of me. And I remember just thinking man, these kids are super annoying. And then I'm like,
I was that kid.
But I was one of those kids too. And then I'm just like, man, was I that bad? I was probably worse. And then I really kind of went down a rabbit hole a little bit of, man, I have a lot to repent on, I feel like during Easter weekend.
Thank goodness it's Easter.
Yeah.
As long as you had, I like that you had good immediate perspective on that, though. That was pretty. Without
a doubt. Yep.
Oh yeah, that was me. Not that long ago, like 15 years ago. All right, let's take a time out. Thanks, Liv. When we come back, my predictions from Wrestlemania, did I get them right? And also, we play a game about the draft, and it's Austin against me, but we might also get a little bit of a helper. That's still on the way. I think Austin is now showing Liv the video.
We got the video.
We have the video for sure.
We got the video.
I could tell the reaction.
Yeah.
We had found the video.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, actionsportshacks.com, the place to go. For the full lineup on the
looks like the
Action
childhood.
Sports Shacks 24/7 network.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. Action Sports Jacks is the biggest brand in Jacksonville, and we're excited to add another partnership for this team's biggest season yet. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is now the official streaming network of the Jacksonville Sharks for their 15th season.
The Jacksonville Sharks are your champions.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jags PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jags PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, I'll take it. Looks like the Jacksonville. Go ahead, Brent.
Well, I gave you 10 seconds. I mean, I felt like I gave you 10 seconds, but the Jacksonville Icemen, you had it, man.
I can't see if you're on the screen or not, man. Sorry.
The 2 overtime games, Friday, Saturday. Man, Austin, they had it, man. They were right there. They had the lead late, 3 minutes to go in game 1. They gave it up, and then they lost an OT, and then they lost an OT Saturday. So now really up against it against the 3-time Kelly Cup champs. They have to win 4 out of the next 5 games. Back home Wednesday night and Thursday night, and then Sunday afternoon. So, hey, you never know. It's sports. You got to take it one game at a time, Austin. But Icemen have their work cut out. Could lose for a 4th consecutive year in the playoffs to the Everblades.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying it's impossible to come back, but it's definitely going to be a pretty big mountain to climb. And you just hate it because it feels like the Everblades, like, are they that much of a better team? I don't think so. It's just a few bounces here, a few bounces there. That's hockey.
Yes, it is. Hockey playoffs, by the way, got underway this weekend, and so NBA playoffs. 51-pointer for Oklahoma City Thunder. Ooh, baby,
Yeah.
51 points. That was absolutely insane. All right, take us to the Duval Daily. What you got today, Austin Lane?
Kim, you got a button for me? Oh, right. I mean, Jason Hamby, take notes.
With Brent Austen.
All right, Brent, check this out. Through history, there's always been 2 opposing sides. There's been the Capulets and the Montagues. There's been the Sharks and the Jets. There's been the Olds versus the Youngs. Well, now there's the DIA and the Gateway Jacks. The City of Florida and the DIA, which stands for Downtown Investment Authority, is interested in a new University of Florida graduate campus downtown. Gateway Jacks wants riverfront space next to Park Street so they can essentially build, like, you know, family-friendly environments, things like that. The 2 are trying to work on a mutual beneficial plan where both sides would actually swap their land proposals. So essentially, Gateway Jacks would take control of Riverfront Plaza, and DIA would take control of 801 Bay Street, a proposed building for the University of Florida campus that they want to build. Both lands would be comparable in prices. There'd be additional stipulations, but they're going to actually vote on this in May. So 2 companies that want the opposite things may just trade their land and say, we're both going to be happy. Why can't we all get along, Brent, you know?
Just please get along. Whatever's best for Jacksonville at the end of the day. That's all we want.
And this has been the Duval Daily.
The Duval Daily. Austin Lane. All right. Well, the last couple of days have been WrestleMania 41. Give us your take on it, man. Was it good? Was it bad? Bring Casey Kurtz into the fold here, too, I believe. So what was the overall thought on WrestleMania 41 from Las Vegas? Did you like the stage at the very least?
Stage was okay, yep. We'll bring Casey here in a second. But Casey, welcome to the show. Scrap House, Wednesday nights on 7. It's funny, Brent, because you have 2 nights that were the complete opposite. You have the first night on Saturday, which started out a little slow, kind of had some rough spots, and then all of a sudden finished with a climactic bang. And then last night, you had banger after banger after banger in terms of quality matches, and then you have the main event featuring John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and it fell a little flat. Casey, would you agree?
Yeah, fell a little flat. Not good, some would say.
Not
Bad,
good,
others would say.
Yes.
Not good.
Bad. Wow.
Some
Okay,
would say-
well, let me be the reporter in the room. Why? Why was that bad?
Casey, you want to take it first and I'll follow up?
Okay, reporter. First of all, it's a clickbait question. You would know if you watch WrestleMania. But anyway, not important. Why was it bad,
But
Brent?
I don't.
That comment I just made wasn't for you, Doug. That was for people in the chat that watch WrestleMania and watch John Cena's press conference. So anyway, here's the thing. I was under the impression if we were at... Don't give me that, Brett. See, you know what, Brett? You want to do this? Now I'm mad. I'm already fired up because I told you when we did this whole crap, this proposal, right? Get paid off social media clips, do the bits, right? I said we need to do it at this time every week. And we are 4 days in and I'm already bumped again. Exactly what I didn't want. I got a whole life to live here, Brent. I got other things to do and I'm already way behind where I was supposed to be. So I'm coming in here furious. I'm mad. And now you bring up the John Cena crap, which sucked, by the way. Travis Scott, you suck. Why were you there? Triple H, you ruined the whole damn thing. Good for John Cena, he won. But it was just terrible. And now you've made it worse, Brent. So not only last night did my night suck because of how this played out with John Cena, this morning has now sucked because you have me down the card yet again. And I'm sick of it.
Get used to it. Austin, were you as perturbed by Travis Scott? Because I figured bringing a big name into the fold is what the WWE often does, from George Kittle to other stars. Why was that bad?
So here's the thing. The company that bought WWE is also the company that I technically work for in TKO. So one would think, Austin, you better be careful what you say. But me being me, I've never been one to censor what I think, what I feel. So I'm just going to come out and say it. They don't have a feel, and TKO, who's running WWE, they don't have a feel for the wrestling universe. They think that they can just put whoever out there with a lot of Twitter followers, with a lot of trending topics, and that's going to be okay. And it wasn't. To quote my son's a big Travis Scott fan. My son got in trouble in pre-K one year because he kept saying, I'm the highest in the room. Hope I make it out of here. And I had to talk to the teacher and say, yeah, he got that from a song. Don't worry. I'll make sure he doesn't say it anymore. So my son loves Travis Scott. My son should have been pumped to see Travis Scott. His exact quote was, why is Travis Scott there? He can't really wrestle, can he? I go, no, he cannot. So then why is he there? And it wasn't just a quick cameo where you see him for a couple seconds. He got his own entrance. He got everything. So it wasn't a good look. And then to go after Triple H a little bit, Triple H wants to say, well, hey, we don't really listen to what the internet has to say. We don't really care what the internet has to say and everything. Bringing Travis Scott out in a 5-minute entrance and then making him the feature of WrestleMania was exactly you guys trying to cater to the internet. It wasn't you guys trying to cater to the wrestling fans. It was you guys trying to cater to the internet and say, hopefully we get views. Hopefully we get retweets. Hopefully we get, the subsection of wrestling fans and pop culture talking about this. And I think it fell flat.
Big time.
As just early reaction, guys, are there folks talking about it because Travis Scott? Or are there more people wrestling fans saying, what the hell was that? Where do you I know what your opinions are. I'm asking you from what you've seen social media wise or whatever else, where's the balance falling?
So I think when it comes to any kind of pay-per-view, but especially WrestleMania, you're only as good as you finish. And last year, when it was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, we didn't even care how the first night of WrestleMania went. We didn't care about the bad matches because all we could talk about was we saw The Rock, we saw The Undertaker, we saw John Cena, and we saw that climactic finish. Even though we kind of knew what was going to happen, Casey, It's how you got there. Mm-hmm. So last year's WrestleMania was just it blew us all away, and we didn't care in totality how it was because it finished strong. This year, there was a lot of quality matches, but we're talking about the ending. And I think the internet, in terms of wrestling fans or pop culture fans, are all saying the same thing. Travis Scott didn't have to be there. Travis Scott didn't have to be featured and help John Cena win his title. And more importantly, where was The Rock?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the bigger thing that people are upset about, because Travis Scott, in a weird way, is involved in the storyline because he slapped Cody Rhodes in the face. But outside of that, I mean, you could have never saw Travis Scott again, and it would have been fine. I think most people agree on. But yeah, what this comes down to is the story that you built revolved around The Rock in a way, turning John Cena heel, Rock being the guy to do that, trying to turn Cody Rhodes, and there's no payoff. You never saw The Rock. The Rock wasn't even in Las Vegas last night. So, like, why was The Rock there? John Cena could have turned heel without The Rock.
Correct.
And it would have had maybe even a bigger reaction because The Rock didn't have to be involved. So, to have that moment, to set up for months for this moment, and I think we were on the same page. You didn't have to see The Rock, but you really didn't need to see Travis Scott without Rock.
No, not at all.
And it just screwed the whole thing up. And I think a lot of people are happy to see that John Cena won, but it's always going to have this weird, like, oh yeah, Travis Scott was there for no reason.
And here's my point of it, Brent. Like, last year, WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes wins. That was the biggest moment of the year for Cody Rhodes, was him winning it. What it took to go through the bloodline and everything. You brought out The Undertaker, you brought out John Cena, Seth Rollins for like a second.
He got killed, yeah.
He got killed essentially in a second, but like it was chaos. But like it ended with Cody holding the belt high, completing the story.
But it all made sense.
It all made sense. With John Cena, last night he won his 17th title. That's the record. That wasn't his biggest moment. His biggest moment was turning heel. His biggest moment was joining The Rock. So, like, when we finish this story, whenever it's going to be when John Cena retires, like, WrestleMania will be up there, but it won't be as big of a deal as him turning heel.
And
like, go ahead.
If you knew that The Rock was not going to be involved, and who knows if they did or didn't, and people on the internet are speculating that, he should have turned heel in the match last night. That
Correct.
should have been the moment. He should have been a face this whole time, him and Cody respectfully talking to each other, and then the shock moment is the low blow, and he pins Cody and wins it that way.
Yeah.
Then you don't need The Rock, you don't need Travis Scott, but instead they did this goofy storyline that I am in the belief there's some on the internet that The Rock screwed this whole thing up.
Yeah.
In terms of just wanting to be featured and then just didn't show back
And it's
up.
a possibility, and it makes you wonder now if you should have instead found some way to turn John Cena heel at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only do you put the belt on him, but then you make him a heel as well. Like that would have broken records. That would have broke the internet.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brent.
I remember it was a month or a month and a half ago when he turned heel. Like, it was a huge dominating story that weekend. Like, it was massive that weekend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have really inflated it to what it is right now. I'll say one other thing, guys, and I've seen clips. I wasn't obviously watching, but I've seen enough now because I think I did my WrestleMania picks and I keep bragging about it. So, like, when I did that, I keep getting clips on Twitter. And I don't know if you guys care about this, but I just thought, like, the finish of the match was kind of too. Like, does that matter to wrestling fans? Like, that it just wasn't, it just was okay, right?
It mattered to everybody because it's like any kind of season finale in any kind of TV show. Like, you got to leave the people going, wow, what was that? And you had John Cena playing the bad guy at WrestleMania, the only time it's going to happen. And we all left there thinking, that's it? That's the story? Like, it didn't fulfill, I feel like, people's needs. And one last thing about, I feel like, the direction, at least what we have gathered from WrestleMania, and like, I don't want to make this a big political thing by any means, but like, if you watch when Disney got taken over by whoever it was, when Disney sold their rights to Marvel, when Disney took over with Marvel, they took over the Star Wars franchise, George Lucas sold all this stuff. What happened? Well, they stopped listening to the internet and did whatever they wanted to do. And all of a sudden, the product suffered. Like, has there been a great Marvel movie in the past couple of years? No, there has not. Has there been a great Star Wars franchise in the past couple of years? No, there has not. Well, why is that? Because people can be tone deaf sometimes and maybe not listening to what people want. I feel like wrestling right now might be going down the same path. In case you may disagree a little bit, but like, I think wrestling is going down the same path where it's like, you got to take the criticism. You can't just be a rogue and do whatever you want to do. Like, there's the diehard wrestling fans that you still need to appease. Don't worry about the overall perception of the internet and everybody else, but you got to cater to us. And they didn't cater to diehard Star Wars fans. They didn't cater to the diehard Marvel fans. And now the product suffers.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything you said. The Mandalorian's pretty good.
Mandalorian's all right.
All right.
It's all right, man.
You like it?
That's okay.
You like Andor? I like Andor.
Andor was okay.
Okay.
It was all right, man.
What are you great? What kind of scale are you great on? Anyway, I agree with most of what you said there. And yeah, the whole, I don't really know how they come back from this, to be honest with you. And if you kind of go back and read some of the stuff that happened during WrestleMania week, not on television, Triple H did a lot of interviews that were interesting at the time. And now if you go back and start piecing them together, it's almost like Triple H didn't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But he was kind of like preparing people for like, you know, if you don't like what we do, then just sit back and watch. And if you want to be a critic, then, you know, oh well, like do it off the internet or something is what he said. And it was like a lot of the stuff he said, it felt like was like unprovoked and odd. And now the way that this plays out, people are going back like,
it makes sense.
Oh, he knew that they were going to ruin this whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going
he had
for
read the
here,
script.
Yeah.
I think he wrote it, Brent, to believe it or not.
Hey, yeah. Hey, so seriously, how did I do?
You had Cena. That was a good call there. I believe you had Liv and Raquel. They did not get it done. Oh, you had Jacob Fatu. He got the win. New champ. That was good. Rey Mysterio didn't actually compete, so I call that as a no contest for you, I guess. You had Sunglasses
did he get
Guy.
hurt the night before or something?
He actually got hurt the night before.
Yep. On Friday Night
Gosh,
SmackDown.
I'm good at this. I've been paying attention. Cargill, she won.
Cargill won. Sunglasses Guy, otherwise known as Jey Uso, won. So, I mean, you were on fire. I think you had the New Day as well. They also won.
Did he have the New Day? I can't remember.
I think he was scared of the War Raiders, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, really, you did decently, Brent. Not too bad.
Nicely done. And press
All right,
butthead
good
out
deal.
with
All right,
Logan Paul, too.
Oh, that's right. Logan Paul.
Yep.
Logan Paul won.
Oh, big time.
He did, yeah.
Of course.
And I picked against him just for the fact that because Casey was gushing over him. So I changed my original pick just to kind of give Casey a little
Bad decision.
And it was a bad decision of mine.
Pulverizer. 1, 2, 3. We'll see you, AJ Styles.
I let emotion get the best of me, Brett, and it cost me a little bit.
Drink pride.
Yeah. Don't pick with your heart all the time.
Yep.
You got a game for us today. We got the draft week is here. Casey Kurtz. What are we doing? A little family feuding?
Yeah, we're feuding with the family. Normal family feud. It's 5-on-5. Unfortunately, I checked around. Your guys' family don't like each other and don't like you. So you guys are going to be, I think, riding solo potentially. I don't know if Brent, you've employed the chat to help you here, but.
Yeah, I haven't done that. I kind of did put it out there. I just, to be completely honest and transparent, I don't know fully how to execute it with the chat. Like, I feel like eventually we'll show and tell this a little bit, and if we do more of it, we can get somebody to call in and be on our squad. But I don't think it's going to work right away. So we're not going to do that today, but this will be a little bit of a show and tell that maybe we have a tag team partner, I guess is what I'm saying.
I like that. Okay, very well done, Brent. So yeah, Family Feud Draft Edition. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. I'll be your host. We have the lovely Kim to play the Vanna White role. I know Vanna White is not actually on Family Feud, but she's going to help facilitate this.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward. There's 2 rounds. Top 5 answers will be on the board. It will be about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their drafting history. Kim, do we have the open music? Yeah!
We got music and everything.
Don't sue us.
I know, right?
Look at that!
Look at this!
Jacksonville feud, everybody.
Look at you.
Here we go.
Jacksonville rated everything.
This is what I'm paying for. This is what I'm
damn
paying
right.
for.
Bumping me 30 minutes down the damn thing, and I had
dude, I'm sorry. You got bumped? I got bumped, too.
I got bumped.
It happens, man. It happens.
I specifically said no bumping. All right. Anyway. Here we go. Brent versus Austin.
Okay.
Round 1. Now, it says top 4. I'm not good at math. It's actually top 5. So it's not 8, it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5.
So we're missing the 5 part, but there's 5.
There's a 5th name that will come up. You're
gotcha.
doing all 5.
Gotcha, okay.
The other 3 are just irrelevant. Pretend they're not there.
Okay.
Okay, Jacksonville feud, round 1. What you're looking for is we surveyed. And by the way, we're going back and forth here. It's not like a traditional as fast as you can.
Yeah, for sure. That's how it should be.
So we'll let Brent go first.
That's fine.
But your first round is we surveyed 100 people, as they do in the Jacksonville feud. And we are looking for the top 5 best draft picks in Jacksonville Jaguars history.
Any round, correct?
It can be any round. The top 5 best picks they have ever made.
Does undrafted free agents come into play here?
It won't.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Brent?
And this is by AI, by the way. This is
We surveyed 100 people.
Okay. Well, tell the people okay.
We surveyed 100 people.
Okay.
And this is what they gave us. Brent, where are you starting us?
Tony Baselli.
Brent goes Tony Baselli. Seems like a bit of a layup. Kim, show me Tony Baselli. How about that, Tony?
Nice.
In the number 1. Austin?
Top draft picks in history. I mean, you got to go with Joshua Hines-Allen.
I am stunned that is the second name off the board here.
So this is AI for sure. Okay, got it.
Hey.
So not to think like a computer.
Hey, we surveyed 100 people. We're looking for Joshua Hines-Allen. Kim, what do we got? How about that?
Okay, we're good.
Number 4.
Really? Wow. That's
this is AI. Brent, you got to. I'm sorry, it's 100 people.
I didn't think that one would come up right away.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
and I didn't either. And by the way, like I still love the fact that you guys call him Joshua.
Well, hey man,
this is great.
That's what he wanted, right?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I did not want to put Josh Allen on there, and he accidentally stumbled upon it. And next thing I know, I've got online beef with Joshua Hines-Allen. So we're going to do it that way. Brett, what do you got?
Fred Taylor.
Brent goes future Hall of Famer Fred Taylor. Kim, show me Fred Taylor. How about that? Number 2. Austin, 3 and 5. Still on the board. Got to keep pace. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Brent had 2 layups. I feel like you were trying to think a little too far outside the box. Don't get me wrong. Josh is great. But
here's what I'm can I tell what I'm thinking right now or not?
You can say whatever you want.
Well, this AI. Okay, so we're using AI here.
Are we? I surveyed 100 people.
Okay, you surveyed 100 people. So I'm trying to put my mind in like, what would AI be?
I walked around downtown last night asking people questions.
Okay. Once again, a recency bias. I'm going to go Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey is what Austin is going with. Kim, do we have a Jalen Ramsey? No Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
No Jalen Ramsey. Brent, 1 strike to Austin. Brent, what do you got?
Maurice Jones-Drew.
See, again, Austin, I think you may be just thinking too difficult about this. Kim, show me NFL Network's and friend of Brent Martineau, Maurice Jones-Drew. There it is.
Okay.
All right. Brent's got the first 3. I mean,
yeah,
you lose this round one way or another, but at least have a fighting shot in the second round. Who's number 5?
I disagree with Jalen Ramsey being up there.
You don't even know who number 5 is yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, do I just go the obvious or do I go what I think AI would say?
Did Jalen Ramsey contribute more than any of the 4 on the board to the Jacksonville Jaguars? Not in the NFL, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In terms of talent?
No.
I mean, what's the criteria here?
I surveyed 100 people.
You went to AI and asked it. Okay, so go give me Marcus Stroud. Marcus Stroud's
what you're going with?
Well, in terms of importance to the team, yeah.
No Marcus Stroud.
Yep.
Brent, wipe the floor with him.
I'm going to take Rasheed Mathis.
Kim, did Brent just win the first round of Jacksonville Feud? Show me Rasheed Mathis. How about that? I thought you get stuck on that one for maybe a second. Huh. You just got demolished. You played for this team.
Yeah, I thought I did.
No, you did.
What are we going to do?
There's pictures on the internet.
Apparently I didn't.
I mean, what's your beef here? This is a quality list.
No, it's great. It's awesome.
All right. What a mess. We've got round 2. Brent wins round 1, 4-1.
Yep.
There is a tiebreaker if you can somehow shock the world and come back here.
I mean, how many times was Rasheed Mathis All-Pro?
I surveyed.
Okay. You surveyed. Okay, 100 people. Got it. All right. Go ahead, Brent.
By the way, Austin, I liked your Jalen Ramsey pick. I thought that was a really good one.
Oh, it's all good, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
So listen, the Jalen Ramsey one is interesting, but
we're good. We're good.
Okay, you know what? Forget it.
Let's go.
Forget it. Second round.
Let's get into it.
I surveyed 100 people.
Yep.
These are your top 5
worst
of
all time
Jacksonville Jaguars draft picks of all time. Now, I will give you this caveat: all first rounders, as you would probably expect. But there's not some random 6th rounder that sucked or whatever.
No, yeah.
But these are all first rounders. Brent, you went first last time.
So that eliminates Austin Lane.
I can confirm that I was very excited when I talked to all 100 people and I didn't see Austin
That'd be funny if that
Austin
came up,
Lake
dude.
come up.
Yeah.
Because I would have been like, what the?
Come on, man. I had other people in my draft class.
You're up first, Austin. What do you got? Worst Jacksonville Jaguars draft.
I mean, I don't get points for getting number one overall, so it doesn't really matter, but he's going to be on the list for sure. He's got to be Matt Jones.
Matt, see, here's what's crazy to me. Like, I'm just surprised that's where you go first. Kim, show me Matt Jones.
Huh.
Number 4. Yeah, I thought Brent would get that one after his illustrious interview with Matt Jones that we heard so much about on the radio.
It was stopped on my list.
You want to bring that one back? Let everybody know what you said to Matt Jones?
Do you have a drug problem?
Oh, man. What a question to ask another grown man.
I'm going to go with Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert, quarterback.
Wow.
Former first-round pick. Kim, show me Blaine Gabbert. Number 1. The number 1 answer I received from the 100 people I surveyed in downtown Jacksonville last night. You have a beef with this?
Does Brent have a cheat sheet?
Well,
yeah, I feel like Brent's got a cheat sheet for sure.
I mean, in theory, there is a way to talk to the same 100 people I talked to.
I bet there is. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this guy's got to be up there, but knowing how this is panning out, he may not be on the list. Derek Harvey, for what you gave to get him.
Derek Harvey.
Good one.
Good answer.
Now you're
good
thinking,
answer.
Good answer.
Think,
good
but
answer.
I don't know.
Kim, show me Derek Harvey. Number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making a comeback here. Now, Brent is straight
work.
perfect
Nice.
here.
Yeah, he is pretty good.
You need him to lose one.
I didn't want to say this after what I had said about Matt Jones, but now I think he's in the spotlight this weekend again. And I'm going to think that they view this guy as a really bad pick, Justin Blackman.
I don't think he's on there.
Austin doesn't think he's on there.
I don't think he is. I think there's 2 more worse than him.
Interesting. Kim, do we have a Justin Blackman? We do, number 2. You think there's 2 worse than Justin Blackman?
Yeah, I really do. I think C.J. Henderson and Luke Jokel, but I'll go ahead and give me Luke Jokel.
You're going to go Luke Jokel. Just to confirm, not C.J. Henderson.
I'm going Luke Jokel, who was what, number 2 overall?
Kim, show me Luke Jokel.
Or number 1, he was top.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa, nice work, Austin. Good work.
So it's 1-1, huh?
Yeah, you did technically win that.
Should I have a tiebreaker? You got a tiebreaker?
I do have a tiebreaker,
Let's
but there's
go.
not a graphic. It is just a 1. Kim, great job, by the way. Thank
Kim,
you for
you dominated
executing that. I wasn't
This
worried
is well done.
necessarily.
I like this.
But, I was kind of worried, and that was great. Thank you, Kim. There's no graphic for this this last question because this one actually surprised me. So, I surveyed another 100 people. Who is the biggest miss in Jacksonville Jaguars draft history? And what I will say is this is a human that the Jags drafted.
Okay.
But because of what you could have got instead. And this is not a stretch like, oh, you could have traded this and got up to this point and got this human. There were humans that were picked after this human that the Jags picked. I will tell you, he was not on either list.
Mm-hmm.
And as you would probably believe, he was a first rounder. And I think this one is questionable. That's all I'm going to say.
We're going back and forth.
Yeah,
Right? Or just until someone gets it?
Until somebody gets it.
Who's going first?
Go ahead. You go first.
We'll let Austin go.
By the way, just to double check. Hey,
go ahead, Brent.
Well, before he gets to Leonard Fournette, so like an example here could have been for this exercise. It could have been Blaine Gabbert, right? Like because J.J. Watt, but I know, but he's on the board, so we can't use him. But because of J.J. Watt was picked after him.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is exactly
so
what
you
you're
go
going
Leonard
for.
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette is a good guess, 4th overall, I do believe. A lot of good players selected after him. I did not receive Leonard Fournette as the answer.
Okay.
Brent?
Taven Bryan.
Taven Bryan is what I thought I was going to receive the most votes for. It was not Taven Bryan. Back to Austin.
Because Lamar Jackson was picked after him.
I know. That's really what I expected to hear to these people I surveyed. I will say it was honorable mention.
Austin's is really good.
I know.
Austin's is really good, by the way, because, with Mahomes and was in that draft.
Yeah.
Blake Bortles.
What you got?
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
Is not the right answer.
Dang it!
Not a great draft. Yeah, it wasn't a great draft after Blake, to be honest with you, especially quarterback-wise.
It don't remember it.
It's a good guess.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is a little
it's a little surprising.
Little surprising. Not a bad football player.
Okay.
I can't. I forget who got picked instead of him. That's the problem. Like I know the guy that I would replace it. Shoot. I'm gonna go. I don't think this was the draft, but I'm going to say it anyway. Brad Meester. Oh, no, that's a first round. We got to go only first round, right?
It is. I'm giving you the caveat that it is a first rounder.
Was Brad a first rounder?
Brad Meester? I don't think was a first round pick, no.
Unconfirmed. I wouldn't guess Brad Meester.
I don't think he was. Okay. The reason why I'm trying to go back to is that Ben Roethlisberger draft. I can't remember who the Jags picked instead of Roethlisberger. But it's not all the way it's not that draft back in like 2003 or something.
No.
Brad was a second round pick.
It is not the 2000 whoever they picked
second
round
round
2003.
Okay.
Is there a shot clock on this game or not?
I failed.
Okay, he's forfeiting his turn.
We got to one.
Reggie Williams.
No.
Ooh.
Dang. If I told you the draft, would it help?
Well, is it new or older?
Yeah, but don't do that.
Is it old?
Not
okay. Then by all means, Brett, we got till 1.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
I know. I think I know it. I got it.
I feel like it's going to come on the back, like in the last 15 years, based on what Casey's saying, because I didn't think he's that bad a football player and stuff. I think that's what I think he's.
I think Austin's onto it.
I got it.
Tyson Alualu.
Damn it.
Wow.
That's what I was going to say.
That is indeed the answer I was given when I surveyed these people. Tyson Alualu, the biggest
They're wrong, huh?
draft miss in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nicely done on the buzzer there, Kim. That was perfect. Because she didn't know the answer either. I will say this is some of the people that were drafted after and the reasoning. You can agree or disagree. Des Bryant.
Okay.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Okay.
Demaryius Thomas. Now, I think those were some of the ones given because if you think about what's Tim Tebow. Yeah, we'll go there.
Rob Gronkowski.
Okay. That's a good one as well. All of those names that were mentioned played on their original team for a significant period of time. Like JPP was a Giant forever.
Sure. Yes.
Des Bryant was a Cowboy for a very long time.
Correct.
Demaryius Thomas was a Bronco for a very. So, like, I understand where they're going from. And in those positions, a little bit more impactful if you're getting sacks or scoring touchdowns. So
this is true. My argument's going to be, in terms of career longevity, Tyson Alualu is one of the last men standing of that draft class.
JPP still playing?
No, for sure.
And
I'm saying most of them. And who?
And he lost some fingers.
Oh, and he lost some fingers as well, yeah. But I think in longevity, Tyson's one of the last guys standing in that draft class. No, I get it. It didn't all take place here. But I think those 100 people need their head checked a little bit.
Get their head checked. Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Austin. Like, I think it's pretty interesting if you ask, like, the fans, right? I think we were probably more right with our initial guesses. And maybe you were the most right with Leonard Fournette because you pass up on Mahomes, who's considered one of the great quarterbacks of all time. Now, Taven Bryan's a little bit later on, but you pass up, like Casey was thinking, and I was thinking, Lamar Jackson, who's now multiple-time MVP. So, I mean, to me, that has way more of a miss than Tyson Alualu. And I might look this up a little bit or see if I know enough people. I'd love to know from a football, like evaluation standpoint with people in the league, former, present, you name it. How they would view Tyson Alualu as a 10th overall pick who did play as long as he's played and for as good as he's played, but without the crazy, like, I'm going to the Hall of Fame, the All-Pros, and the Pro Bowls. Like, if you pick that guy where the Jags picked him, would they be happy with a 15-year run of a career? More than the fans would be, right? The fans would not, because he didn't do all these things, and he's not going to be retired here in Jacksonville and all that stuff on the pride of the Jags. The fans would be way more bothered by the Fournette and the Taven Bryan one, of course, because of who you passed up. So I'd love to know what evaluators think, guys, of of Alualu. I know what you think, Austin, obviously, and I kind of feel the way I think, too. Like, he's not a bad first-round pick if you get that kind of runway out of a player that can play on the league and be good at a position, by the way, that's very hard to stand out anyway on the interior of the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would guess these humans that I talk to in downtown Jack. Again, these humans are just weighing, I guess, the value of position, not necessarily the length of the career. Would be my guess.
And I assume they probably take into account stats and analytics, like almost like a PFF type of thing.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
I would probably go with there were some PFF scores.
Like
checked.
for a defensive tackle, did Tyson Alualu have a lot of sacks here? No. Now, did he affect the game in other ways that maybe tackles for loss and quarterback sacks can't exemplify? Absolutely.
Maybe the computers couldn't see. But again, I talked to real people.
No, it's real people. I got you. Yep.
It was busy night. It was popping last night in Jacksonville. So it was really easy. I just kept walking up to people.
No, I mean, were you by the beach bars? Were you by more like downtown?
I was in downtown.
Downtown, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just asking around, seeing what people had to say about the Jags and the draft picks. So anyway, Jacksonville feud.
Very nice, nice job though.
I hope Brent's paying you enough. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, that was dressed up very nicely. Nice job, Kim's Corner, as well. Appreciate you helping
very
out
good job.
with that segment. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, Kim's Corner here, wrapping up a Monday show, which we'll do in about 5 minutes. Casey, back in the early part of the show, we talked about this draft as one that's kind of unpredictable at the moment. Yeah. Do you feel that way with what you've seen, other than the first 3 picks? It looks like it's going to be Cam Ward and either Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, or Travis Hunter then Abdul Carter. Do you find a lot of mystery here? And how do you feel about Genty in terms of real life or smokescreen to Jacksonville?
Yeah, I will say the part that I love about the draft, and this may be a plug for me selling autographs, I've got some Cam Ward stuff, and it's pretty much a lock. You know what I'm saying? Feel good about that. Got some Miami helmets that I'm flipping as we speak to Tennessee logos. So, if you see Tennessee stuff, not that anyone in this chat would want to buy it, I hear you. But if you know somebody that knows somebody, and you see on draft night, you happen to see new listing, Cameron Ward signed Titans mini helmet. That's me. Support nice. Your boy. That's all I'm saying. But outside of that, yeah, dude, it's a mystery, and I really like that. It's funny because it feels like every time I go on Hard Rock and look at like second overall pick odds and third overall, it's kind of all over the place. So I like that. I like the idea that really there's a lot of different things that could happen outside of Cam Ward, which is super great. I want to double down on that for my business pocket. So that part is great. And then on the Genty thing, like I said this the other day with Austin, you weren't here. I don't get it. Like, I hope it's a smokescreen, to be completely honest with you, because I don't understand, and I do. He was physical runner. The Heisman stats, Austin talked about it when we was here the other day. But like the part that I can't get out of my head is I don't even know what conference Boise State's in. Are they still Mountain West?
Yeah.
Are Mountain West tacklers going to be the same as NFL tacklers? He can run through the Mountain West kids. That's fine.
Did you watch the Oregon game?
Yes.
Okay.
But like, okay. Are those NFL tacklers still? Like, I'm still worried about that part of it. I would be, as a fan, a bit disappointed if they were to pick him at 5 because I just don't get it. But I guess we'll see.
We will see. By the way, I'm happy for your autograph life. Just a quick question there. You can do that? Like, you're allowed to do that? Flip the sticker from the Miami helmet to the Tennessee helmet?
Who's stopping me? That's a thing.
I mean, it's white.
I didn't know if that's
it's white helmet. So
what is?
Yeah. So there's no like autograph laws that are in effect here in the state of Florida. Well, I mean, you can't fake them; they're real. But you can change the helmets. I'll give you inside the business, Brent. Go ahead.
What happens if he signed the sticker? Like, you tell him, please don't do that ever again. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I'd be like, don't do that. If you want to get real inside the business, here's what I'll tell you. The way that it works now, almost, and not everybody does this, I do because I'm a first-class scumbag, is you do blank shell helmets. So you do a white helmet with no logos at all, and you do a black helmet with no logos at all.
Sure.
You put painter's tape where the logo would be, and point them in the direction of where to sign it. Because the way, just for college-wise, the way that these kids are transferring, you can't. Like, I've got plenty of helmets of guys at, like, Mississippi State, Texas A&M that I'm screwed because no one else is wearing that color.
But, like, okay, you said a white helmet, a black helmet. I get that's the majority, but what happens if they go someplace with a blue helmet or like Notre Dame where it's a gold helmet? Like, can you paint?
It's funny you say that. I just had to flip a Riley Leonard when they were in the national championship because the Duke helmet was white. Correct. So basically what I did was I just put on the white helmet a green Shamrock logo.
Yeah.
And it's goofy. There's no doubt. And I took because there's like the tape across the top, I took the blue tape off and put gold on.
Dang.
And there's somebody owns that helmet now in Indiana. Good for that person. Thank you for the sale.
One of one, huh?
One of one?
Yeah. One of one. That's interesting from an authenticity standpoint. All right, Casey Kurtz inside the business. Nice job on the Jacksonville feud. And we're back at it tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Brent Austen Show. Check out the rest of the lineup, including no gate fees coming up next. High school baseball and softball. Baseball playoffs start tonight. You can watch 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock. No gate fees on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. For Cycling Center here on a Monday. Have a good one, everybody.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand.